And the College World Series. This one golfed into shallow center. Here comes Flowers. It's going to drop. Racing home is Cabrera, and LSU's on the board first. Finally called him back. He said, we need you on this team. And he delivers here. A single through the right side. Beloso will score from second. And this one's right up the middle. Smith will be waved home from third by Nolan Cain. The throw from Flowers is cut off. But Daniel Cabrera comes up with a clean single up the middle to extend LSU's advantage. Here's Reese Albert. The payoff again. Fouled off again. Albert fouls another one off. And another one spoiled. Sticks with the fastball. And it's driven high and deep to right field. And he has done it. A tie game thanks to Albert's bat over the bleachers.
Yes.
A 3-run shot. And he lifts another one high and deep to right field. Duplantis gets turned around. Can't find it because it's in the bleachers. Albert's done it again. Pitch. Popped it up. Nelson has a beat on it. Loses the mask. And Florida State wins game 1 for the 40th consecutive season. 40 wins for number 11. And 1 win away from a return to Omaha.
Your favorite word. See you in Omaha.
Becker towards the line. It'll drop. Smith to be waved home. Becker's throw is off the mark. And taking second is Duplantis. It's a 1-run game in the 8th. Ripped to third off the glove of Mendoza. And we are tied.
Put your money back at the door. Omaha. Oh, somewhere in middle America. You're right to the heart that matters. Oh, it's the heart that matters more.
2-2 to Mendoza.
Think you better turn your ticket in. Get your money back at the door.
Line drive, base hit. Around third, Salvatore. The throw never gets there. Mike Martin's going back to Omaha.
I'm coming home today.
We're going, yeah!
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do. Win the whole thing.
Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online at ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but hey, sometimes you do. All 3 hours for that very reason. Posted every day upon the conclusion of the show on iTunes as well as in our own audio vault. You can always email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, the WTSM app. Good for your mobile devices. And, hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Hello, Tallahassee. All right, a bit beleaguered, but buoyed, obviously. We rolled into town actually not all that long ago. Tom Lang, I have to compliment you in that, admittedly, since we were there at Alex Box Stadium and the electric atmosphere of that crowd, those moments in time etched ever forevermore, really, for us, it's a bit of a come down to hear the play-by-play announcer for ESPN just act somewhat subdued and annoyed. You weren't given much in the way to work with, brother, so good work out of you.
Well, I got to give Director Matthew, since we're passing the ball around, and credit. He went to the grocery store today for all this audio, and there's a lot to get, and unfortunately, a lot of it was rubbish. So we did what we could with what we had, and 11's heart and soul in the two messages he delivered, one to the team and one to the fans down the third baseline last night, that carries everything because that's what this is about.
Yeah, today, and you'll bear with us, that was we're really going to reveal, I think, and relay, I should say, our accounts of the 2 days and the time spent there, the 3 days we were there, actually. And that was, I will say, I mean, I know everybody's interaction is different, and, there's nothing universal across the board. For example, when I went out to Norman, Oklahoma, I really came away from that place impressed with the fan base at OU. And I don't know, most of the people, 90% of the fans that I talked to from FSU afterwards said the same. But you'll always run into somebody who says, nope, found the biggest a-hole in the world, almost got into 3 fights, whatever. I think that these fans at LSU, I'd doff the cap just like Mike Martin did yesterday in the post-game press conference. We were treated unbelievably well. And that place, Alex Box Stadium, is kind of considered one of the crown jewels of college baseball. It'll happen when you win 6 national titles, but it's better than a lot of minor league parks. And the folks that we ran into out and about at restaurants and so forth were great. Our stay, I think we would both say, was an A+. But to win in that place is special for a lot of reasons. It's incredibly hostile in the way that it should be, right? I mean, those fans are passionate about their team. They get loud at the right time. They make it very, very difficult. You can feel the energy shift when momentum does in a place like that. And for this team to overcome that and to not just win, but go in there and sweep and back-to-back regionals now and get back to Omaha one last time for Mike Martin, it's a hellified accomplishment. It's something that should really leave one, if you're a Knoll, just beaming with pride. It was really rather remarkable to witness. I found myself stepping kind of away from maybe not the fandom of it all, but really wanting to capture more, the snapshot of what we were involved in, what we were seeing, what we were, witnessing. Because I've been going, I say this a lot, to Florida State baseball games for a very long time now, not as long as many of you listening, but dating all the way back to the very early 90s until today. And I've been out to Omaha a few times, and I've certainly been to regionals and super regionals and been to ACC tournaments and all the big matchups. And I have my fair share of moments that I always think I'll remember for the rest of my life involving Florida State baseball, good and bad, And I knew we were experiencing one of those. You sensed that while you were there. You knew it the second you walked into the ballpark for the first game on Saturday. You really did. And that, just walking around that stadium and feeling that energy. So I really wanted it. I found once I was in there, I thought, why not us? LSU wasn't a great team all year. We certainly weren't a great team all year, but it's about the right now and how we're playing right now and the way that they played the game over these last 2 weekends and sort of the toughness that they showed along with an improved level of play. It was infectious, but it was a joy to watch. Those kids are tough. They're a lot tough. And I think having the kind of season they did, where they went through so many valleys, where they really did struggle, where we had Mike Martin Jr. on the show, and he talked about, there were times it was dark, it was ugly, but, I wanted it for these kids, and they love each other, and they kept playing hard and all that stuff, and sometimes that rings hollow, sometimes that rings cliche, but I think that's true with this group, and you can see it more than anything else. You can see they play for one another. They play for Coach Martin. They love him. This group loves him. And that much is obvious in the way that they play, in the way that they share with each other's successes, and the way they pick each other up when something bad happens. You didn't see them hang their heads. You didn't see them, even in the midst of getting no hit in the first game, they're still battling and battling and battling. You just give yourself opportunities, and who knows, there's a little magic in the air right now. It's hard to predict how they'll play out in Omaha. We've seen teams get on runs and go out there and play poorly. We've seen teams playing poorly, find a way to get out there and all of a sudden get hot. So, I'm still wrapping my mind around what they just accomplished to win that series up there in the way that they did.
Well, 2013 Clemson was a road trip I'll never forget. Pasadena in January of 2014 for the 2013 BCS title game is unbelievable. I felt so lucky and fortunate that my job would take me to a place like that. This was another one of those. Yeah. You're right. You walk in the stadium, the main entrance, you walk up the steps, and by all the national championship monuments and flags, and you see all the successes LSU's had, and all you feel is juice. when you get to the terrace level, because it's a lot like if you've been out to SunTrust Park or some of the newer ballparks where the sight lines exist all the way around. It's like that, an open terrace, an open viewing area. And I thought last night our vantage point was perfect, because you weren't in the press box, right? So you're removed from the situation, yet you weren't in the middle of the stands either. We were standing room by the railing on that very terrace, and you could be a part of it while also seeing it happen as like its own event, to see the fans interacting, the animals down the third baseline, and then the LSU fans. And it was, 95% good-natured.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And everybody just cared, from the word go. The hospitality before the games,
I think
the gestures of kindness on the way out, saying we want Mike Martin to win this thing. It was just, a 5-star few days out there in Baton Rouge.
I think the interesting thing is that when you talk to people who've been following, they're passionate about college baseball, so they get the big picture. They understand the landscape of the sport, and they know which teams have been consistently excellent, which coaches have done a good job over the years, and certainly everybody knows Mike Martin's story. As decorated a coach as you'll ever find, just missing the national championship. There have been a few coaches like that in the annals of football and baseball and basketball over the years, snakebit for whatever reason when they get out there. But everybody who follows the game knows how difficult it is to take teams, especially repeatedly as he has, back out to Omaha. Ask UCLA, the number 1 national seed, who gets beat by Michigan, also one of the last 4 in. Imagine hosting after not having lost a series all year long and then not going out to Omaha. You see this, it happens. Baseball's a fickle and funny game, and it's why if you can just get to the postseason, you give yourself a chance to start playing well and begin to believe, and guys start seeing the baseball, or guys begin to ooze confidence. It's infectious. And so once they got in, they really had nothing to lose. I think they've played largely like a group that has had nothing to lose. And I wondered what would happen last night as we're watching after LSU does come back. Florida State is being shut down by a Herculean effort from LSU's relief pitcher. And, you're sitting there watching that going, well, I don't know, we could be on to Monday. I really did always feel like, and the only thing I got right about this particular series in Baton Rouge was that I thought we'd either win 2-0 or they'd win 2-0. And I thought game 1 was the most important game. And so we were pretty gloomy halfway through that game. To come back and win it, I really felt like you knew you'd get a great performance from Van Eck, and you did. Just couldn't add more runs when you had opportunities. So I began to worry as we were squandering that performance from him. But at the end of the day, Florida State does win it. They do find the magic. And I think, again, one thing I will say is, as we were walking out of there, I've talked about the knowledgeable fans at LSU. You had an LSU fan give you a hug and say congratulations, one that you had talked to earlier in the day. The 2 people that were standing in front of us, which we chose to stand in that area where I shot the video for the final at bat for the game, because at that point, we were one step away, and we that's one great thing about what we do is we don't have to be objective. If you don't want to go into the press box, and we chose not to go into the press box for this particular game because we wanted to don the garnet and the gold and be fans. And in this situation, we could be fans as long as we weren't doing it in the press box. So we said, why don't we go stand right over there by Section B and watch the game like a fan and do what we want to do in terms of cheering this group on, because they're a likable bunch. So to be in that moment, capture that, the celebration, obviously you and I embraced the whole deal. But how cool was it that they turned around and said, congratulations. Obviously, they were bitterly disappointed. Hey, now go win it all. I'd love to see it for Martin. Had a lot of people tell us that as we were walking back out to the car after the game. Obviously, disappointed LSU fans everywhere. They're not used to getting swept in their own backyard there, especially by a team that's one of the last 4 in. I think they were kind of in awe of what just occurred.
Yeah, they may have been complaining about their head coach a little bit.
They're not a big fan of their head coach currently. No, they're not. And certainly he made some questionable decisions, including pitching to Drew Mendoza there. But okay, as soon as the pass ball happens, I think, oh well, now they're going to walk Mendoza. Oh, you're going to pitch to him. Oh, okay. So maybe it's meant to be. But anyhow, that happens. We're walking out. Lots of people saying, hey, go win it. Go win it. Love to see him get it one time before he leaves. And that was a sentiment that seemed to be shared by a lot of LSU fans.
Well, the thing that I love about this team, and I was hoping I'd see it, and they had the opportunity to show it, especially in Game 1, defiance. Not tonight. Not today. It's not ending today. We're not losing today. And even though there was no danger yesterday, you'd have a game 3 at 8:30, and you'd hope that Grady goes out there and gives you some big innings, and you'd have J.C. Flowers ready to go. When the ball left the bat, what was it, the 11th? Was it top of the 11th?
Oh, on the ball that's hit to
on the ball
deep,
that like the one hard hit ball that Velas gave up, and you thought off the bat, oh man, if that went yard, I don't know that we would have come back last night. We're probably playing a game 3 because obviously LSU was the road team in game 2 of the Super Regional. But I just love that we don't quit. I mean, think about it. They tie that game. We keep our heads in it. We throw the baseball around. I know that we made a few errors this weekend, but we throw the baseball around and pick off some runners, throw behind runners, get runners caught in rundowns, or it's the great play by Matthew Nelson, second and third, nobody out. You throw behind the runner at third. When the hell does that ever happen? I mean, that's just an unbelievable way of finding some outs. We manufactured some outs this weekend in really key times.
I think that one of the things that probably, and it's a different vibe being there, but I'm going back over the years and thinking about moments where Florida State did things to aid another team or did things that, eventually led to their downfall. And that was always so frustrating because you'd say, well, it's one thing to get beat. It's one thing to kind of see another team just come in and outplay you. When you make mistakes, you begin to second-guess a lot of things, and frustration mounts. And you don't deal with those kinds of losses really well. As LSU ran the bases like idiots for most of the weekend and ran themselves out of innings, ran themselves out of opportunities to score more runs, Florida State made the plays to capitalize on the mistakes that LSU was making. In that situation, let's just go to the final hit. Clearly, they made a poor decision managerially. There's no reason to pitch to Mendoza there. Once the wild pitch happens and the runner advances to second, you're walking Mendoza there. But they don't, okay? Well, he still has to get the hit, and he does. If you wander off a third base on the previous pitch and Matthew catches it and looks over and makes a note, do it again. Now you got to execute the throw. You caught him wandering. You caught him losing attention to detail in a critical moment. But he comes up and fires, guns his ass. You got your head on a swivel when a guy's trying to take an extra base. You throw over there, you get that out. They did a lot of the things that in past years, when it slips away from Florida State, fans go on to talk about ad nauseum. Fans will meet over the beer and say, here's the thing. Why do we do this? Why did we do this? Why did we pitch to that guy? LSU had almost every one of those moments, and we took advantage of those. So for those of us that are looking for, is there magic in the air type conversations, if you're looking for signs that maybe it's different this time around, they were abundant this weekend. There were a lot of these moments. I mean, you're getting, again, no hit halfway through the first game. It used to be when you watched a Buster Posey at bat in certain moments, one of the things that made him legend, and we've talked about it a lot, is that he always seemed to get the kind of hit that was necessary. Single, if a single was necessary. Grand slam, if a grand slam was necessary. One had to think in the very long, drawn-out Reese Albert AB that if it were going to happen, if it was going to happen for Florida State in Game 1, you foul off that many balls, I think it was 11. When you begin to do that, obviously you're timing a guy up. It does begin to kind of creep into your mind now. He's got him timed. If he tries to throw another fastball by him here, we could be tied. But so rarely does it actually happen that
home
the
run's
thing
a hard thing.
That's
yeah.
a hard thing to do, You could square it up, it could go right at somebody, whatever it was. But what we had to have there, it felt like anyhow, we needed a home run there. You got it. It shifted everything. And most of the bigger moments seemed to happen in the way that obviously Florida State needed to. We needed a little help from LSU at times in this game yesterday, and they provided it.
Yeah, and the first Reese Albert home run barely got over the fence in right field. If by barely you mean 150 feet, it looked like. And the way the wind was, I don't know if they discussed it on television, but it was blowing in from left, and there was no way for anybody to leave that park left field. I mean,
couldn't
you
go
would have
left,
had to hit.
you couldn't go center either because
Right.
it's cavernous. Yeah,
Yeah, down the right field line was pretty much all you had. And maybe it's best I'll tell you the story later, but I learned a great story. We've talked about it. J.C. Flowers and Matthew Nelson's interaction, because Matthew goes out to the mound 2-0. And at live speed, I look at you, I'm like, man, they're disagreeing about something. Is it pitch selection? What's going on there? He's not happy. And that wasn't the case at all. But
we'll talk about that later.
Another
today,
moment
too,
of
yeah.
defiance, you know, from J.C. Flowers. And didn't he look exhausted? Because it was hot as hell out there, and he was playing center field in the sun all damn day.
It's cool, too, that the moment to take a step back that Martin had, his reaction is priceless in the dugout, just smiling. And you could almost, in the moment after the game-winning hit happens and the run comes across while everybody's going berserk and he's just calmly looking out in the field and smiling, it was almost as if he was saying, are you kidding me? Really? This is happening? I'm going to take a moment here and really appreciate this. I'm, stunned. This group that barely got into the postseason. We're going back to Omaha. You know, it was cool to watch a group of fans and players, assistant coaches, and obviously the head man have the wherewithal to take a look around, take it all in, celebrate as you should. Understand though that while this moment is something we'll always remember, and it's a hell of a thing to go on the road in that environment and win, they feel like they're not done. They're in the midst of something here. And, I can't – it's funny. I've been searching. We drove a long way back from Baton Rouge today, and I kept waiting for a moment. I kept waiting for the what's my brain telling me here? What's my intuition telling me about this?
Sleep. That's what it's telling you.
It's telling you got a show to do, and then you're going to go home and go to bed. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
/Orange Theory Fitness banner for your chance to win. Good stuff. Do it.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Three-pointer, bang! Tie game!
The playoffs are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the Stanley Cup and NBA playoffs.
Oh, what a shot with 0.6 of a second remaining!
The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for FSU and Major League Baseball. Trivia Tuesdays, Beer Bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget.
For the championship!
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Need help moving? Two Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit twomen.com or call them at 850-224-2232. Two Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the all-new Infinity of Tallahassee, the newest Kraft Brothers dealership. As we get ready to break ground on the new Kraft Infinity store, Peter and I thought, why not have a founding 50 with lots of cool stuff for 50 special buyers? And when we say special benefits, we mean it. Here's just some of what you'll get. Free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime powertrain warranty, and free gas fill-up with factory scheduled maintenance. I told you this was special, and there's more. Free car wash and loaner cars, a gold license plate frame, and a commemorative brick at our new store. Plus, my favorite, the white glove treatment with front-of-the-line service priority. It's Tallahassee's first truly VIP car buying and servicing experience. So if you're in the market for a luxury vehicle, you need to look at Infinity of Tallahassee. Seriously, no haggle pricing, and every time you come in for factory scheduled maintenance, we change your oil for free, wash your car, and even fill it up with gas. It's Infinity of Tallahassee's founding 50, so prepare to be pampered. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill.
You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
By the way, so what we'll do now as we get set to kind of tackle Omaha from a sports talk radio position and what we'll be doing in terms of coverage and all that good stuff. Admittedly, we're going to hold off on flying out to Omaha for the first couple games there and then make our way out there. Once they win those, Tom, we'll make our way out there to cover the historic National Championship Series victory.
How you feeling there, Moonlight Graham? You think there's enough magic?
in the moonlight, huh? I don't know. I'm having a hard time doubting them. This is a team, again, that on a day where obviously they just came back from winning there in Baton Rouge in that environment, you don't want to doubt. They have, holes in the lineup. They're not a perfect team, obviously. They were an average to bad team for much of the year, but it's like you can cast all that aside currently with the way they're playing and the confidence with which they're playing. And also, let's not forget this. It gets interesting looking at the way things shook out. It gives us a chance to take a look. Oh, by the way, let me finish my other point. So we'll do watch parties and the like if we can. We'll figure out some stuff, and then we'll make our way out to Omaha in the middle part of the following next week. And it'll be something to be out there to watch that national championship, Tom.
Boy, that would there be a dry eye in the house if they're wearing garnet or gold?
Well, and I tell you what, the locals are great. Going out to Omaha, one of the things you do discover, certainly, and anybody who's been out there knows what I'm talking about, they're great hosts for this event. They really take great pride in hosting the national championship. People have said for years, for example, well, why do we have to go out to Omaha? Why can't this thing be somewhere else? I mean, Omaha's all right, but it's Omaha. But when you go out there, you do get a sense that they love the sport and that they embrace their role in it and as hosts for everybody. And one thing that happens is a lot of the people of the community there that go to the College World Series every year or that grew up doing it because it's right there in their backyard, their home city, in the surrounding areas, is they'll adopt teams. They'll adopt teams based on the best storyline. If you're an underdog, if you're somebody, as long as they don't have a team in the hunt, if Nebraska's not there or a team real close to the region, they'll just adopt teams based on coaches or likable players or storylines. If you're an upset Darling, they'll pull for you. I got to believe this is going to be a Mike Martin special. I mean, the people out there know what this man means to college baseball. They've seen Florida State come out there so many times and come up just short a number of times. You know, it's not as if it's all been disastrous out there. They've had their fair share of wins out in Omaha and then just come up that close to bringing it all home. And as random as baseball is, people get it. People who know the game get it. You ought not be that unlucky that many times. So he'll be the sentimental. Florida State will be the sentimental favorite for the locals there if they're just adopting to teams. Geographically speaking, they'll obviously also kind of be excited about Michigan and the fact that Michigan never goes.
Well, and they'll travel because of that reason. If you're there for the first time in 35 years, I think people will make that trek.
Yeah, they'll make the trek out to Omaha. So one of those two teams will be the fan favorite, I would think, out in Omaha. So, you know, it will be I think an embraced atmosphere of all things Florida State, all things Mike Martin. They'll want to see him win that thing. But, you know, UCLA loses to Michigan, aforementioned series there in Los Angeles. They win the series 2-1. Frankly, if Michigan didn't commit 5 errors in the game before, they probably would have swept UCLA. Elsewhere, Vanderbilt, who gets pounded 18-5 in game 1 by Duke, turns right around and shoves the next night with an improbable 19-strikeout no-hitter in game 2. You talk about heroic performances. My goodness gracious. They win 3-0 there and then win game 3 13-2. So Vanderbilt moves on. Yesterday was a great game, kind of overshadowed by our game to some extent. Texas Tech 8, Oklahoma State 6. Texas Tech wins that series in 3.
Woo! That was we watched game 2 of the Supers after we were done with our first game.
Yeah, that was that series was outstanding.
Yeah.
8-6, 6-5, 8-6. You had good games for all 3 of those. The only series that really was not worth watching in any way was the fact that Louisville just hostile towards East Carolina. My goodness gracious. There are other ways to describe what happened to poor East Carolina in that series, but the old 26-1 combined scores. Here's a little 14-1 and 12-0.
Yeah, you don't see that in a super regional.
Thanks
that
for
often.
swinging by. My goodness gracious. And now there are games going on, right? We've got the Ole Miss-Arkansas game, and then North Carolina decided they didn't want any part of Auburn today. They would just go ahead and give up 11 runs in the first couple of innings to start the afternoon. They're down, I think, last I saw, 13-1.
Auburn has been the ACC slayers because they went out to Atlanta, took out Georgia Tech, which that happens once or twice in program history for the Jackets. But now, North Carolina in weekend 2.
And we are the SEC Slayers.
Yes, we are.
Athens, hello. Thanks for holding it down for us. Have a good one, Georgia. Well, hello, Baton Rouge. What a lovely environment.
And we get to continue that for one more round at minimum because Ole Miss Arkansas will produce, in fact, an SEC team.
So you would like us to face nothing but SEC teams as we make our way?
That would be fantastic. What a way to kick off the ACC network, huh?
I'm telling you, the flag is flying high these days, buddy. Yes, once again. And we will be the cornerstone of all things ACC when it's not football season.
Then we're some other kind of stone.
And we're kicking
the stone at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, so what happened to them? Jeff Cameron Show.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
your one-stop shop for everything cigars. With 2 convenient locations, Cigars of Tally is here to serve you. The 1401 Market Street location is right off I-10 and great for travelers and after-work stops. The Midtown location, Cigars of Tally Lounge and Bar at 926 North Monroe Street, is great for those winding down from a long day. With the largest humidor in town, affordable cigar lockers, a large covered patio, and private conference rooms, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Cigars of Tally, open 7 days a week. Need cigars? Get your ash in here.
Exciting news for you loyal Florida State fans. Now you can show your Seminole pride plus get 15% off all regular priced FSU merchandise during Team Tuesdays. Remember to stop by any Garnet and Gold store location on Team Tuesdays and take 15% off all regular priced FSU apparel. It's that easy during Team Tuesdays at Garnet and Gold. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Stop by Garnet & Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com. 2019 Nike Coaches apparel has now arrived. Visit Garnet & Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
Yingling Golden Pilsner, a highly sessionable beer, golden in both name and color. Yingling Golden Pilsner is the perfect balance of hop and malt character for crisp and smooth thirst-quenching refreshment. Cheer for your Garnet and Gold with Yingling Golden Pilsner. Yingling, brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
Shot side, rebound, score!
The playoffs are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's held in a shot, safe, rebound!
The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for FSU and Major League Baseball. Trivia Tuesdays, beer bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget.
For the championship!
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
What are Bojangles Chicken Supremes? They're bold, craveable chicken tenders. Here's what our customers have to say about them.
You can't beat Bojangles Chicken Supremes.
Oh, I have to have Supremes every week.
I like that they have some kick.
It's this perfect explosion of flavors.
You can't find this anywhere else. It's out of this world.
Try our 3-piece Chicken Supremes dinner with a fixin' and a biscuit for $4.99 and get a free iced tea. Bojangles. It's bow time.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Stephen A's larger point that Magic Johnson might have been a tough boss. That's probably fair, what he's saying there. And I told you when he was hired, he's super impatient. He quit coaching after 17 games or whatever it was and took Vlade Divac's beeper and threw it up against a wall because it went off during a meeting. It's a great sentence. I use it way too much, but it's only because I want everyone to picture Magic Johnson, 5'11", as the coach. Vlade Divac, he's in a cloud of cigarette smoke in the locker room, and there are no cell phones. He's checking his beepers because he's hearing from people all over the world, and Magic Johnson takes the beeper because it was interrupting what I'm sure were some profound, deep thoughts that were going to change basketball, and throws it against the wall and makes it shatter.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
probably haven't given enough credit, as we've talked about most aspects of the win yesterday and the performance on the road at Alex Box Stadium. Antonio Velez, it was unbelievable. And they kept going back to him, and you kept thinking, we're probably watching his last batter. But he was, again, I think not just you look at the ability to execute pitches when you have to, but I always think about in that situation with all that's riding on it, how well you keep your composure. And just out there looking at him, you could tell the moment was not too big for him. And that is huge because at this point of the season, and typically speaking, anybody you play now, like in this case it's LSU, obviously, when you get out to Omaha, these teams all have really good players. And these are all guys that at varying points in their careers, really their baseball lives, have been the best player on their team. You don't get to that level. You don't get a scholarship to places like this or LSU or Texas Tech or any of the teams that we're talking about without having been an elite player growing up. And certainly somewhere along the way coming into your own to where you were the guy that a team depended on. Now you ratchet up the pressure. Now you ratchet up what's on the line, what your career is going to be viewed as, what you're capable of as you aspire to get to that next level. And that has a way of affecting guys in the most crucial moments in time. And then there are those guys who seem to focus more, who seem to have the ability not to play above their talent level. I mean, you are what you are. At some point along the way, as they say, you're what the back of the baseball card tells you are. But can you execute what you're capable of doing? Can you execute in those moments that you have to execute? And I thought that even though, you thought about Velez comes in, he allows an RBI single to Zach Watson, that ties the game at 4. He inherited a tough situation there. He made good pitches. And then you go and you're talking about two teams trading zeros for several innings. And a lot of this overshadowed some of the things that were going on in that game, including Vanek's start and some of the things that you saw from Fontenot as well. And yet, there our guy was going 4 2/3 and pitching extremely well, getting big outs in crucial situations because of the ability to execute high-quality pitches time and again when you had to do it. That's that guy Martin said after the words in the press conference, that's a guy we're going to depend on out in Omaha. He's now taken that step to where you feel like you got another guy you can trust that the moment's not going to be too big.
Yeah, I think for both pitchers last night, and even to a degree JC in game 1 because he played in the field for so long, it's attrition.
Yeah.
All that is attrition. Fontenot was unbelievable.
It's crazy how many pitches. 96 pitches for him in 6 1/3. That's nuts.
Right. We kept on looking at the pitch count, just laughing, going, oh, my God, they're going to let this kid keep going.
He struck out 11.
Yes, he did. But he clearly was getting towards the end of the line there, just like Velez was. We thought, how many times was a right-hander on deck, and we had a right-hander ready in the pen, and there was a runner on base with 2 outs. That happened at least the last 2 times.
Had to keep making, keep making pitches, and executing pitches.
You got to keep making pitches and keep re-engaging yourself. I wonder if in the dugout the conversation was clear that we're going to let you pitch as long as you can go, or if they said, all right, it's your last hitter, and screamed it from the dugout or gave him a signal that you don't have to worry about the next inning, only to ask him in between, hey, can you give us 20 more pitches? I just wonder how that looked because it felt like in the building he had to air it out with whatever he has left because the next inning won't be his at least twice, and then he came back out there. Unbelievable.
I think it's interesting to note in these moments, it's the little things that really decide wins and losses. And when you're making these decisions, it's not easy. Now, has Mike Martin always made the right decision, when to pull a guy, when to leave a guy in? No manager has. And when it backfires on you and you lose a game, it's all that's remembered. The decision to stay with a guy or maybe not go to a guy sooner is all that fans remember. But now think, he's in this situation for the right to go to Omaha, and he has to kind of ride and die with a guy that, frankly, has never been in this situation. And he's not just using, the strategy of, okay, well, we got a lefty-lefty here. He's thinking about, what do I have? If I make this move, what more do I have to go to? How long are we going to be playing? What are the implications of this move? And also how that guy's stuff looks right now. He's talking to his catcher. He's talking to his pitching coach. He's talking to Junior. He's watching, obviously, through the eyes of a man who's seen a lot of baseball in big moments. And he's deciding in that moment, you know what? We'll leave him out there. I just feel good about him. I mean, he's executing right now when he has to execute. Nothing's really being hit that hard. A couple balls squared up. But, on the whole, this kid, the second he does give up a hit, the second somebody does reach base, he reaches back and finds a way to make a big pitch, to get a ground ball, to strike a kid out. And I think at that point, it takes a lot of guts. If that goes the wrong way, if he leaves him in there to pitch to a righty and that righty yanks it out of the yard, what are we talking about? We're talking about Game 3 today, and, boy, some questionable decisions to leave a guy out there that has not been in that position. Instead, they stay with him. He does execute, and you get a win. It's one of those moments certainly the young man will remember forever, but now he's elevated in status. It's really back-to-back games that he's pitched exceptionally well, and they now have a guy that you feel like, okay, out in Omaha, the moment won't be, again, too big.
Yeah, the focus in the postgame was solely that Mendoza was pitched to. I mean, that's if you're talking about a manager and his decision, it's not even about leaving Fontenot out there.
Because it's an asinine decision. It's just a dumbass decision. Yes. I mean, it makes no sense.
I think everybody agreed walking out of the park last night that it was. Yes.
I couldn't believe it. And so today, the shoe's on the other foot. That guy has to sit there and explain. Paul Mainieri has to explain to his fans why he did that. And it was interesting. He knew he didn't have a good reason for doing it. He was playing a hunch. He certainly wasn't playing the numbers, and he said, we thought maybe we can get one more fastball by him. Well, you got a kid who throws a wild pitch. You got a kid who's missing up. You got signs of, a kid tiring. You've got all the evidence you need that he's beginning to tire. You also have an open base, oh, by the way.
Yeah, that's the part of it. I mean, about leaving him out there, I get that he looks like he's tiring. He obviously is tiring. The pitch count demands that he has to be exhausted. But you're trying to manage into tomorrow where you have your full complement of the guys you had in Game 1. And if we have to let him be the sacrificial pitcher of the night, okay, so be it. But it's when that bag's open, man.
Oh, I'm
and you're halfway to a walk anyway.
Well, I'm still stunned. I'm watching. So the wild pitch, it's not the wild pitch. I think it was a pass ball. It's up and away. He doesn't quite get his full glove on it.
That didn't make the count 1 and 2,
No. Once it gets to, well, first of all, once it gets to 2 and 2,
when there's 2 balls, yeah.
Yeah, when there's 2 balls.
When there's 2 balls, that's.
Yeah, I kind of.
Well, again, that wasn't the first ball of the count, and so it's a no-brainer to put him on.
Well, especially because, frankly, if you're just looking statistically, he's our best hitter, and
the run means nothing. The force now, third, second. I mean, yeah. You
got to pitch to Martin there, right?
Yes, 100%.
I was surprised. A, they did that. B, that he didn't reconsider. I mean, that he had a moment to reconsider, and it never happens. And thank goodness he made the decision that he did. But these are the decisions that we talk about all the time that coaches are tasked with in baseball more than any other. A guy's ability to execute or not dictates whether or not you're a GOAT. Certainly you can aid the process by understanding the numbers.
Well, that poor kid's not a GOAT. I mean, those 2 or 3 of the players for LSU were just on the ground forever because you could see that they were stunned at what happened. It took the life out of the building, man. Even the tailgate lots yesterday, the way we come back and win Game 1. I mean, that place was hopping before Game 1 in the parking lots hours before first pitch. We got our credentials 3.5 hours before first pitch, and they got a full-blown party going on. And day 2, not so
as much.
Music wasn't quite as loud.
You bring up a point a moment ago about kids falling to the ground. One thing to say as you watch this play out, in the video that I posted last night of the game-winning hit, and certainly any other video you might see, I'm not just trying to take credit for that. It just happened to capture a bunch of things, which I really didn't realize till we got back, and I saw it on a full computer screen instead of my phone. It captures a lot of things that are feel good about the sport, about sports in general. And about competition. First of all, it captures a win for Florida State, so we can all celebrate that. But secondly, if you watch that video, a couple of things happen. There's a tender moment towards the bottom left of the screen in the video in which Mike Martin Jr. comes over to hug his dad, and I got lucky to capture that. That's fantastic. Secondly, there's a moment where obviously Paul Mainieri comes out of the dugout, and he's basically beeline into his pitcher who's fallen to the ground, having just given up the game-winning hit, and their season is over, and he is, from what I could tell with the video, almost inconsolable. The catcher's going to try to help him out too. But at the very, very end, and some of the videos I've seen, I don't know if I was able to capture this or if it cut off in time, but I saw one of J.C. Flowers going over to the second baseman for LSU and picking him up off the ground and giving him a hug after these two teams had just gone through an epic battle. That's the stuff you love to see. It's the respect that you have for people that you're competing against, who you desperately want to beat. But also you have the knowledge in the background that, hey, you've worked hard, they've worked hard, everybody's laying it on the line. It's tough when you're on the wrong end.
Yeah, Fontenot takes the loss in the record books, but I mean, can you really call him like the losing pitcher that given night? I mean, he was just – it was everything LSU needed while it was rallying, because you talk about momentum and the air being taken out. You could feel it on our side.
Well, you heard what Mike Martin said about Fontenot, too, after the game. I mean, he went to see him.
Yeah, there's another photo. Yeah. Sports information director for LSU took the photo of the interaction because Mike Martin requested to see Fontenot just to tell him it was a legendary effort.
Yeah, told him he was a warrior and that he would take two of him any day of the week, that he came away very impressed. Also, when they're shaking hands at the end of the game, Martin says it several times to Paul Molinari, or Maneri, excuse me, I keep calling him Molinari. I don't know where the hell that's going. Maneri. He tells him, your boys battled that kid right there. Please, at first he's saying, please relay to him that I am so impressed and admired his ability to compete at that level and dominate us the way that he did. I mean, that had to have been infinitely frustrating. You're batting in the bottom of the order, so you've got a chance to end it, and yet this guy is left you completely inept.
Yeah, what is it, 11 and change of the 21 innings were no hit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a strong I thought there was a strong possibility we'd watch another 5 innings and nobody getting a hit. It was absurd.
Of consecutive, periods of time. Of course, a 1-2-3 inning happens all the time, but just 2 long stretches in 2 days where you can't do a damn thing, and yet you still find a way.
Yeah, and one thing to also note while we're pointing out the heroes of the day, and there are so many to choose from, but I tell you, you're never more sure as to who your anchor is than when you're going through stretches where you're not hitting and you're checking up on the big scoreboard there who's coming up next inning, right? And you're kind of assessing your percentage chances of scoring. And you know what you find yourself doing if you're a Florida State fan throughout that evening and really throughout much of this year? Is Salvatore going to come up this inning?
Yeah.
I tell you what, that guy.
Did we turn it over?
Did we turn it over? Because if he's coming up, we might get on base, and there's a good chance we'll get a hit. I mean, that kid has good ABs, even when he doesn't get hits. He's what you call kind of a professional hitter.
Hopefully Becker's okay, obviously, because in the moment you don't know for sure he's hurt. That's the only way it makes sense that he gets pinch hit for.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay away from that beyond just that comment, because he had the sac fly. That's an at-bat that'll get lost in the shuffle. Everybody's going to talk about Albert's 3-run home run. Everybody's going to talk about the moment with Mendoza, JC closing it out, the 2 relief pitching efforts. But Van Eyck's going to get lost in the shuffle, and that big sac fly RBI to give us the 5-4 lead in Game 1. That dude continues to impress. And Matthew Nelson had a solid weekend, too. He's got some issues sometimes behind the plate defensively in terms of just catching the baseball, but a couple of big hits, the throw behind the runner at third, the interaction with JC. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that kid did as a freshman. He's growing into a nice catcher and a nice leader of a staff.
They think he's going to be an elite defensive catcher, and it's his head behind the plate. There's no questioning that. He's, as a receiver, I understand where you're going with that, but he makes a lot of great plays, a lot of great throws, and he's a guy who obviously played a big role in the win this week, and you're right, because that throw over at third is absurd. And there was also one down at second.
That could be the series changer, honestly.
If I'm LSU today, I'm lamenting a lot of things, certain decisions with Maneri, but I'm also thinking, well, how the hell do we just run around like idiots out here on the base paths with opportunities to put together big innings? And that's the stuff I was alluding to earlier in the hour that in years past we've occasionally done, and you're just left, sort of speechless. How does that happen? Why, if you're on third base, are you in any danger of being thrown out with less than 2? I just can't fathom what you're doing. I get secondary leads. You're in scoring position. Anything that you're going to score, anything to the outfield. What are you doing? That third base coach must have been like, well, okay, we're not winning. I mean, that had to have been. I would have had to turn and walk down the line.
A lot of people turned and walked away when it happened.
I mean,
a lot of people in purple.
I would have been
gold.
afraid of what I would have said. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
The sky's the limit for the 2019 a huge moment.
Fly ball to deep left center field. At the track, looking up. It's out of here.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer and McConaughey, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
It's been many months since Hurricane Michael devastated our area. Many people are still dealing with the damages and finding it hard to get a local contractor to contact them. Are you struggling with getting assistance to fix your damages? Are you feeling like your insurance company is not being fair? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, we can help. My name is Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I'm asking you to give us a call today for your free consultation. Let my company guide you through the process to get your home back to normal.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Hardee's used to think bowls were useless dishware. Then we created the new Loaded Hash Round Bowl. Crispy potatoes, fluffy eggs, sausage gravy, melted cheddar, and crumbled bacon. Now part of our 2 for $4 mix and match deal. No longer are bowls just college football games you can nap to. Now they're loaded with Hardee's delicious breakfast favorites and in our 2 for $4 mix and match. Try a bowl today. They're actually really useful. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Available for a limited time during regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Get your weekend started on Tallahassee's Sports Monster with Fishing Florida Radio. Every Saturday from 6 to 9 a.m., the guys from Fishing Florida Radio get you up to date on what's new and biting in the North Florida region, while welcoming big-name guests and celebrities, too. Fishing Florida Radio on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, 501 St. James Avenue, Panacea, Florida, and by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Dale Jr. Chevrolet, 3127 West Tennessee Street. Online at DaleEarnhardtJRChevy.com.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Warriors superstar Kevin Durant plans to play in a must-win in Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight against the Raptors. Durant took part in the morning shoot-around, is listed as a game-time decision. Despite the fact Durant's been out a month with an injured calf, the two-time defending champs need him on the floor tonight, believes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
Even if he's not even that active, being able to put him back in the lineup allows the Warriors to reframe their lineup to the way they want it. The Hamptons 5 playing Draymond Green more at center. Even if he's not great, just his presence on the court can realign their team. That's what they're hoping to get tonight as they face elimination.
Coverage of Game 5, 8 Eastern ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, 9 Eastern on ABC. Tony Parker, a key player in the Spurs' 4 NBA championships, told ESPN's The Undefeated he's retiring after 18 seasons. Former Red Sox slugger David Ortiz out of surgery and doing fine, according to his family, after he was shot at a club in the Dominican Republic. Ortiz is stable but in intensive care. The alleged gunman is in police custody.
Straight Talk Wireless runs on the exact same cell towers as the big guys, but for up to half the cost. The only question is, why wouldn't you? Get the $45 unlimited plan from Straight Talk with 25 gigs of high-speed data, only at Walmart.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're well, everybody. Woo! Got to ride adrenaline. Got to ride adrenaline here for 2 hours to make it happen. You'll bear with us if we're substandard today. Not trying to lead with that, but feeling a little rundown.
I heard that.
I was actually laughing during the break because I was looking at other numbers, and I was also trying to start to size up Ole Miss and Arkansas and teams we're going to be playing out in Omaha. And then I was like, there's other things that happen that you may want to delve into. And then I realized another one of Urban Meyer's former players at the University of Florida has been charged with murder. Well.
And a happy Monday news cycle to all of you. I say that with tongue firmly planted in the cheek.
But by all means, let's hire Urban Meyer on the desk. Good stuff.
Makes Chris Rainey look like Chris Thompson.
It's just weird. I mean, another guy, Tony Joyner, for killing his wife.
Apparently the cops have been working on that case for years.
2016, she was found dead in her apartment on Valentine's Day, 2016. Anyhow, I'm not going to get into that story, but there you go. Another one of Urban's guys. Second player from one of his teams.
Wasn't he also a captain?
Yeah.
I think he and Aaron Hernandez were both captains. That's not even a joke. Like, that's truly.
Yes, he was a captain. Yeah.
What the hell?
Tebow must have been looking around like, good God, man. What are you doing, Herbie?
Maybe Tebow's been Marvin Harrison all along.
Oh, yeah. He ran a criminal enterprise we don't know about, just hiding behind religion.
You got 60 minutes for the rest of your life, pal.
Yeah.
Pay up.
I mean that, yeah. UCLA bounced, and I'm looking at all the national seeds, and I'm just thinking about how happy I am today and how I remember the days where people would say, it's not, this doesn't happen. It does happen. People lose.
It's happened a lot. We've knocked out, now they do 16 seeds. It used to just be 8, but we've knocked out 2 seeds now, 2 top 16.
Yeah, the run here is one we'll always remember, and we certainly began the show with that, talking about that. I will revisit it shortly. It is the lead, for without question, Florida State off to Omaha yet again. It is a remarkable accomplishment for a team that, frankly, you just had a hard time predicting that this would be the outcome, that this group would go back to Omaha. Now, you understand baseball, and I did think they'd play loose and well over in the Athens Regional. I thought going to LSU, playing in one of the elite ballparks with one of the best fan bases and really intense atmospheres in all the game would be a bit much to overcome. That said, they kind of matched up for us. I mean, remember, they didn't have any left-handed pitching, and I kept thinking that could be a problem for them. But that is a tough atmosphere, and what we do show here is the ability to handle really mental stressors and emotional, I think, turmoil better than we could have predicted based on the season played. The team is not overwhelmingly talented. They're not devoid of talent. I mean, they are young in some spots, and they've gone through stretches where you wondered about whether or not the requisite talent was there. But all the while, most people didn't question overall talent level. They questioned whether or not the team really could just execute. They didn't always pick up the baseball, and that was maddening. They didn't pitch at an elite level for stretches this year, and so you just wondered whether or not they'd find themselves at any point. And, it's an awfully weird thing to sit around and say, well, maybe they'll find themselves in the postseason if they get in. But it has happened. Baseball is a weird game, and it does appear that's what's going on here. They have found themselves in play for one another. They are passionate about the work they've put in, the program they play for, the coach that they're playing for, and there seems to have been a rallying cry. And I wonder, you can only speculate how these things happen. Certainly in the Athens Regional, they just clubbed Georgia. They clubbed everything they saw. Everything went south for Georgia. Florida State began to gain confidence. Really, I guess you'd say on the heels of the NC State win that they had in the ACC tournament. And they carried that over into the Athens Regional. Going into this regional, though, this wasn't a series, the 2-game sweep of LSU, in which they clubbed the baseball around or anything like that. They had to reach down deep. They had to find it. They're trailing midway through, being no-hit in game 1. They come back and win that game and rip the heart out from those LSU fans. Those fans were stunned. We were in that ballpark, walking out of that ballpark. You could see the look on the faces. People kind of just stunned by what happened there. They were still talking about it the next day, trying to convince themselves things were going to be different. The last thing we heard before we entered the ballpark were 2 LSU fans telling each other, I'll see you tomorrow. And it didn't sound like they believed it. It sounded like they were trying to convince one another of that fact, right? And then this game starts off in a way that is good for Florida State. We got out to a lead, and that led me to believe, and I told you, and we kind of echoed those sentiments together, that maybe we get this rolling. Maybe we run away with this. LSU has not been elite from a pitching standpoint this year. We got an early 3-0 lead. You're kind of thinking, maybe you get it rolling here, and you ice this thing. Yeah. But when that didn't happen, Van Eck was having to be downright heroic in his efforts in that heat, throwing 100-plus pitches and going back out there after some tough innings and making really intensified pitches in crucial situations wear you down more. And you're realizing, I don't know, do we leave him out there? Is it go to the pin here? Who do you trust more than him? All that
Especially
stuff.
on a day where you can't go get JC.
Yeah,
in theory, right? You wouldn't think he'd be available after 6 outs the day before in the heat, and he's playing center field again. But I'll tell you, the LSU fans, and just to reset briefly, there's a lot of juice in that ballpark. That is an atmosphere and a half. Mm-hmm. It really, really is. And it's the most adversity Florida State will face between now and whenever their season is over, if you're just talking about a partisan crowd.
Oh, by far. I would say Omaha, other than what's at stake, is a breeze compared to what the cauldron they just came out of. I mean, that we were there. You could feel that it was slipping away, and you could almost write the end of that chapter. But they willed that not to be the case.
Those are good fans that know their baseball, and no short of 4 of them, maybe a couple more, no shy of 4 of them walked up to me during the game because I was wearing Knoll gear, and they said, "Who is this pitcher? Who is this guy? Are you kidding me?
CJ is
he really that good, or what is this?" And they're like, "No, we hold back our second best guy. He's proven over the year to be a first-round pick in the 2020 draft. That's what everybody figures. It's 95, 96. They go, so he could keep doing that." Like, yes, he will.
Well, he's gotten better as the year's gone on. He's been really good for a while now, and we've trusted him, to go out there and pitch a great game for us. He's been the more reliable of the aces. It is interesting. I think they were slightly peeved to find out that our number 2 is really our ace. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here. The one guy turned to me, huge LSU guy, fan, watching. Somewhere in the 5th inning, turns to me, he goes, "This guy's a freaking animal. That pitch just registered at 96. It's the 5th inning. Does he keep doing this?"
Yeah.
First pitch of the game was 98 miles per hour, according to the gun there at Alex Box. I don't know him to throw 98, but okay.
Right.
Adrenaline's a hell of a thing, and he was bringing it. He sustained not only the radar gun into the late innings, but again, the ability to reach down and make big pitches in situations that you have to. That kind of summed up what you saw from this group. Certainly, as we go on to talk about Velez and what he did, you just had guys make big pitches. J.C. Flowers the day before getting 6 outs. Just guys executing when you had to.
Well, I'll tell you the story then real quick. So when we were watching that interaction between JC and Nelson, and it's a 2-0 count, you got runners on first and second. Winning run is there, man, and that place gets so loud so quick.
Let me interject this to that interjection because I think it's interesting. It's no matter who you talk to, and I think I could speak for all the FSU fans who were back here. I could hear them in my head as we were sitting there. We are programmed to see the fatalist view of how games end. We've been on the wrong end of some really heartbreaking situations. See just last year against the that we use all the time.
Gave that one to them.
Yes,
that's right.
So because of that, you've got it in your head. Here comes a 3-run bomb in the 9th. Here comes the win for LSU. And the reason that you're thinking that is because we haven't won one, and we've always seemingly had these moments where we're on the wrong end of that stuff. And at the same time, you also realize that if that were to happen, we ain't winning tomorrow. You just would have said, you would have felt like, okay, so that's how this goes. And so when it didn't happen, you could, things are going to be different this time.
So, and it's because he just looked so damn tired, and it was hot, and he was in the sun.
He is so tough, that kid.
He is, but he was exhausted, and so I found out after it was
talked
actually
to his girlfriend
before game 2. Yes, they came by the tailgate. Actually, that tailgate was really cool, unique because you had Florida State fans, but a lot of the families and girlfriends of the players,
moms and dads. I talked to Drew Parrish's parents
with the butterflies pregame and all that kind of stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's a really fun insight into how they go through it. Because
I don't know how they do it. As a parent myself, I don't know how they do it. I get nervous for my 11-year-old's Little League game. I don't know how in the world they're about to watch their son pitch. We saw, and without giving anything away, we saw lots of parents while we were there and hanging out, getting ready for the game. And I had a chance to talk to some. You did too. And I don't know how they do it. I'm nervous for them. And you can see it there. I mean,
yeah, it's another layer. So we watch it this weekend saying, I hope for them. Like, I hope those families go home happy because it's so brutal.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so his girlfriend, I said, what did Matthew Nelson say, please? Because it looked like they had a disagreement. She goes, no, it was the exact opposite. So Nelson comes out there. He takes off his mask. He looks at JC, and JC's waiting for him to speak. And he says, so JC, how you doing today? And JC Flowers just starts laughing. And when he pokes him in the chest protector, I thought he was saying, go back behind the plate. I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Right.
He, in fact, was saying, I'll tell you how good I'm feeling. I'm going to throw 94 right at your bleeping chest. And he pounds on the chest protector. And so they both laughed about it for a minute. Nelson goes back behind the plate, the 2-0, and that's the one that pops up and ends the game. The very next pitch. And I also know she said that JC was so exhausted after the game that they were playing MLB The Show, a game near and dear to your heart.
You can get it at Games for Less.
That's correct.
Appalachia Parkway.
He passed the hell out in the middle of the game because he was just done.
Yeah, well, that led us to believe he certainly wasn't going to be available last night, and that does help inform how you handle the bullpen and when you go to certain people over the course of the extra innings and or the later innings all the way through the extra innings. And so you really couldn't necessarily get a handle on just how long people would be out there, how long Velez was going to be out there, how many guys are you asking him to get? Are you just playing a hunch here? Kid feels good. He's executing pitches. How are they going to handle the lineup? Who do you trust? Do you trust anybody more than him? Well, that might certainly explain why Van Eck came back out. You're looking at him going, he's tired, but is there anybody better you're going to go get? Anybody you trust who's tougher with better stuff than him for one more inning? Not likely. All right, he gets in a little bit of trouble there. We'll go here. Let's see how he goes. Let's see how he rides. Antonio is so good in the moment, so you start feeling pretty good about the pitches he's making in key situations. All right, let's leave him out there for another inning. Yep, look good there too. Okay, let's leave him out there for another inning. I mean, you're just pushing the envelope. It could go south, but you do have last at-bats, so you know in this situation that no matter what happens, you give up a run. It's not over. It's not over right then and there, so maybe that helps also inform decisions you're making.
Well, I'm sure you consult your catcher as well because, I mean, think about it this way. So he makes the throw to behind third base, and you get your first out of an inning, and that's a real rally killer right there.
Unbelievable.
And he settles down JC in that moment. I mean, he told him a joke. He wanted him to breathe. And that's what, a true leader does. But it's not just about guys like Matthew Nelson. They take turns picking each other up. I mean, yes, I know the top of the lineup, this was their weekend. Most certainly this was their weekend. Tim Becker had his and Carter Smith had his a week ago in Athens. But still, if you look at the two games and think about some of the big hits that either just broke the ice or drove in a big run, the bottom half of the order did have a couple of big at-bats, too, and you have to have that to get to Omaha.
One of the things as we start to project forward, and by the way, we will venture into a couple of other things today. First of all, the latest is that Kevin Durant does plan to play tonight. That came down the line. So really their last hope, and we shall see. You think Toronto closes it out?
I wonder. I just, because KD blew a 3-1 lead, then the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
LeBron came back from 3-1 down. I just wonder. 3-1 doesn't seem as safe as it used to in the NBA.
So back to us for a second. What I do wonder about moving forward is you've got some guys, and we'll see, but you got some guys at the 6 through 9 at the very least. You might even extend it to some in 5 through 9 that by the end of this two-game sweep of LSU, which is fun to say aloud, really felt like empty ABs. Really felt like kind of,
automatic outs. That's what you want to say.
Yeah, well, yes. And frankly, there were some guys that were automatic outs in the second half of that lineup that you're like, okay, well,
yeah,
this ain't happening. These guys.
I hope Velez could get throw 0 up next half.
Well, I mean,
we'll need him.
Tell me you weren't thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
You can only ride Salvatore for so long, and he's done such a great job, but you got to have a little bit more balance there. Now, as you correctly pointed out to me as I was lamenting the bottom of the order.
Lamenting is a good word for it.
You said, well, Jeff, listen, hold on a second. It was just a week ago that everybody was hitting, and Georgia had a great year on the Hill, and we were on the road there, and you've got guys like Becker hitting 3 home runs in a series. Okay, fair enough. On the one hand, you don't want to hit the reset button before getting out to Omaha because whatever wave you're on now, whatever cosmic happenings or alignings for you to be able to to be able to get back out there and perhaps try to win one final time for 11. You don't want to disrupt. On the other hand, I think they could use a refresh button. Let's okay. Everybody reset. Certainly Reese has to put to bed a 5 strikeout performance in which he just looked exhausted, mentally fried. What, are you going to sit here and bitch about Reese Albert, who hit 2 home runs the day before? Of course not. But it just seems we were taking turns there in that second game of limping to the finish line.
Well, we played a really good baseball team in a ridiculously hostile environment and weather that was,
it was scorching, yeah.
Yeah, you had to focus. You had to lock in.
You had to lock in big. I had to lock in as a fan.
Yes.
Like, I'm starting to lose it, Tom. Grab me a beer.
I can't. You have to stay in the tent.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
For your dollar, with more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our Easy Choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 of a Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how long have you been involved with athletics at JP2?
So I've been involved for 8 years as a coach. I was an assistant, and then 2 years as the girls basketball coach. And then I just completed my 5th year as the boys basketball coach. I also spent my junior and senior years as a student at JP2 in the early years of the school's beginning.
What does it say, though, about the culture of an institution that you graduate from there almost 15 years ago, but here you are still spending your time back at that school?
I think it says a lot. The fact that my wife didn't graduate from JP2, but we both felt drawn back to help in some way. And we weren't even living in Tallahassee, and we always had this thought of, man, it would be so neat if I could go back and help in some way. And when I was named the coach 5 years ago, it was very special, and people thought I was crazy when I said in 5 years we're going to win a state championship. Maybe even I thought I was a little crazy, and it was just so cool to see the program develop over these last 5 years. And we've seen that in many of the sports at JP2. We have so many committed coaches, so many committed teachers that really lay it all on the line day in and day out to try to provide a great atmosphere and a lifelong positive experience for these students in their high school years.
Coach, thanks for your time. For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Exciting news for you loyal Florida State fans. Now you can show your Seminole pride plus get 15% off all regular priced FSU merchandise during Team Tuesdays. Remember to stop by any Garnet and Gold store location on Team Tuesdays and take 15% off all regular priced FSU apparel. It's that easy during Team Tuesdays at Garnet and Gold. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Stop by Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com. 2019 Nike Coaches Apparel has now arrived. Visit Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio. Terry Bowden will assist Clemson's staff as unpaid intern. Okay.
I believe they're calling him a graduate assistant officially.
Yeah, he's pursuing a graduate degree at the school. He's enrolled in a graduate program for athletic leadership at Clemson. And, so my man, who was at Akron for the last 7 seasons, went 35-52 there, got fired, and now we'll be there helping out Clemson.
Said it's time to go back to school.
I, for once, am announcing something that's not so uplifting for Clemson. Normally, I have news for you, and I'm like, damn it, they did it again. Here, I'm like, all right, that's good.
That was well delivered.
Yeah, just saying, it's a little less inspiring, the headline.
Like a 2-0 fastball from J.C. Flowers. Well delivered.
No, I'm so tired of seeing the news at the bottom line or in my top headline section and go, again? This time I went, oh, all right, that's good to hear. What's the score of that Ole Miss game? And I say that Ole Miss game because we don't want Arkansas moving.
Ole Miss drew first blood. I don't know if there was any more to the rally, but it was 1-0 Ole Miss early.
Yeah, it's weird. We were just talking about what you expect once you get out there, and the answer is it's tough to know. You can look at the numbers from the year. You can look at which pitching staffs present the biggest problems and which ace is a guy you don't want to see. And since we play the winner of that game, I'll take Ole Miss. I'd rather play Ole Miss. Bottom line is you got to go out there and play well, pitch well. I do think that Florida State has a tough decision here, or maybe not such a tough decision. Don't you think with the way that this sets up, they got to be looking at CJ to pitch game 1? I would think.
That is, you talk about hitting the reset button. What signifies reset a little bit more than changing the order of operations?
Yeah, but I also think this has to do with the logistics of when you play and when you would get him back.
Yeah.
And so to me, I think you seriously have to consider that. In fact, I would do it.
You need to get him. He needs to pitch as much as he possibly can if you're going to win the whole thing. So, yes.
Yeah. You're going to ride a horse, ride a guy that, has shown that he's up to it and is more consistent, frankly. That's the other part. It's not that Drew can't go out and pitch well. He can, absolutely. He pitched pretty well in his start this weekend. Didn't get really hit hard at all. I thought
he was the storyline of his season, man.
I think he was a little unlucky. Yeah, a lot of dinks and dunks here and there. You're kind of like, really? Okay. But I do think the more dominant pitcher is our number 2, who's actually our ace, in CJ Van Eyck. So I'm throwing him.
100% agree. And I'd also be interested to see, and I'm sure 11 will be asked this question this week if Meek comes on too. But Velez, Flowers, I mean, what is their availability in terms of back-to-back games? You don't have to play back-to-back days until you potentially get to a championship series, so I'd like to see us have this issue. But I would imagine these guys will be available every time we play.
Yeah, you don't have to save anything anymore.
Right. You've got maybe the 6th and 7th for Velez, and if you need 6 outs, JC can give them to you. Or first sign of trouble on the 8th. If Velez is running into a problem, that's when you bring JC in, but see if you can only have him go out there for 3 outs. But it seems like you have primary roles kind of crystallizing as we're getting to Omaha in terms of who your setup man is and who your closer. Of course, we know that JC is, but the capacity to throw for more than 3 outs.
He's a kid that is now pitching and has really for much of the year with extreme confidence and toughness to boot. And, when you think about the season that Florida State just had, it's fascinating to me because a lot of things happened during the course of the year. You just talked about this team as being the mediocre bunch that they were playing like. But I go back to the start of the season, and we look at the year J.C. Flowers had, and for much of the year he carried this team. And if Drew Mendoza wasn't hitting, which ultimately Drew had a good season, but if he wasn't hitting, it seemed Flowers was, and you had some people step in there to keep this season from being a disaster. I just mentioned Salvatore. Of course, he's been as consistent as they come. We can go ahead and cherry pick guys here and there that really kept this group from completely nosediving. But, there was some thought before this season began that JC might not be able to play, and there were some question marks for him in the classroom, and I'm not saying anything negative there. I'm just saying I don't know what those were, but there were some questions about eligibility. That I do know. Obviously, he turned out to be eligible, and that's a good thing, and that's all you need to know. But can you imagine this season without him? Can you imagine Florida State's plight without that kid? I mean, he has been a revelation.
They wouldn't have a plight right now.
No, the season would be over. Yeah, he was and has been one of those guys that carried this team, and I think more than anything else, he has a wipeout slider, yes, and it just falls at your feet, and it's something to behold. It's why Pirates drafted him in the 4th round. Mike Martin Jr. telling us last week when we interviewed him, they actually plan on making him a starter because he throws 2+ pitches. If you are able to get him to consistently throw a off-speed pitch, a changeup, then you've got 3 pitches. You put 20 pounds on him, let him concentrate full-time on baseball, he can be a starter. But that said, you look at him, and then you see the emergence of CJ. You look at the season Mendoza had, Salvatore had. It's pretty much that you've ridden about 4 or 5 guys this year.
Yeah, there's one thing I noted too, not just in the ballpark at the box, but also around super regional play. Remember when they lowered the seams on the baseball the last few years, and big league scouts were very happy about that because they could get a better idea and judge of what they're really signing up for. But the thought was that breaking balls would not, have as much drag, so they're going to flatten out a little bit more as the velocity increases, and you don't have as much leverage with your fingers. There are a lot of pitchers across this country, and I get it's super regional play, so you're talking about some of the best of the best. I don't remember the pitching having this kind of nasty stuff every game you turn on. I mean, the Auburn series in North Carolina yesterday, both teams pitched brilliantly. LSU starter yesterday dropped some 71-mile-an-hour hammers that you go, oh, my God, how the hell do you have a chance? CJ's obviously got great stuff. JC does. But you look all around the country, there's a lot of good pitching out there in the college ranks. And that, frankly, the reputation was if you were a pitcher, you don't come play college baseball.
Yeah, a lot has changed, though. The college game, that's the other part of all of this. When you watch it now, is so much more enjoyable than it was across the board, say, 20 years ago. I mean, the game much more resembles the pro game now. They don't always execute at the same level, obviously. Defensively in particular, picking up the baseball, making the right decisions with the baseball, that can sometimes leave a little something to be desired. But the execution of pitches is much better than it used to be. Obviously, the bats more resemble the reactions of a wood bat. They've seemed to have found the right balance in the sport now that you can watch it and it's not such a foreign affair. Used to be you'd watch the game and you're like, okay, I have to put college baseball over here as its own thing. I enjoy it for what it is. I'm watching a college baseball game. I cannot compare it to what I see in Major League Baseball. The trampoline effect of the bats alone meant that you were seeing something that was completely opposite of what would happen in Major League Baseball. But they have done a real good job now of refining that sport, tweaking that sport, whether it's the ball change like you're talking about, the bat change, and really anymore, players make the decision to go play college baseball, readily. They're not so apprehensive about doing that. You see lots of really good players coming out of the college ranks and making their way quickly when they're done through the minors and getting into Major League Baseball faster than ever before, too. Teams have not been so reticent to bring guys up quickly, especially pitchers, because of what you're talking about, the elevated skill in the sport.
Well, and I know it wasn't lost on you after Game 1 of this series that that's a big moment for the development of the Pittsburgh Pirates prize third-round draft pick. To get through a situation like that with adversity, weather, all the adversity you possibly can have, the winning run is at the plate. And so in the long-term development
double whammy for me. I'm like, my guy.
Of Pittsburgh Pirates prospect J.C.
Yeah.
Flowers, you got a really big investment on Saturday.
Yeah, no, and I don't worry about him in Omaha, just as I don't worry about, obviously, a number of guys who postseason have found the what for necessary to come through in big situations.
I wonder, honestly, having not been there, but I know the reputation. Will it be harder to hit the ball out of the ballpark in Omaha? Because honestly, outside of down the line in right field, it was very hard to leave the yard and pretty much impossible anywhere center or left of center.
Yeah, it's hard to leave the yard out there. They did make changes out there at TD Ameritrade. That first couple of years, people were like, oh, you can't get the ball out of this ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the case anymore, but
the box was just playing difficult with the way the wind was blowing this weekend.
You still have to earn it out there, and I think that bodes well for us. Again, I think you got a pitcher you can trust in Drew. You got another one who can overwhelm in CJ, and then you're good on the back end with a few guys you feel pretty comfortable with, and certainly JC being one of those. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
We're ready to be a part of your vision and build a space that exceeds your expectations. Whether you're looking for design build or build from your own design, give us a call today for a free consultation. As the owner of T-Spark Enterprises, I guarantee when it comes to your business space, we only provide picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark. TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
And we're back with another edition of Spring Cleaning. Today, we want to know how you save energy, water, and money during the warmer season. Caller, you're on the air. What do you do to save energy?
With the warmer temperature, I know my AC is working overtime, so I make sure to replace my AC filter once a month.
Excellent suggestion. Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the city of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more insulation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on Thursdaysincollegetown.com.
Hey, this is Jeff Doxey, representing Premier Fine Homes. I'm proud to announce Premier's newest community, Brookside Village. Brookside has the great schools you want, some larger home sites, and is conveniently located on Ox Bottom Road between Ox Bottom Manor and Moore Pond. Call or text me today at 545-4747 or email me at jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. Remember, before you buy, try me at Brookside.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Warriors superstar Kevin Durant plans to play in a must-win in Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight against the Raptors. Durant took part in the morning shoot-around, is listed as a game-time decision. Despite the fact Durant's been out a month with an injured calf, the two-time defending champs need him on the floor tonight, believes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
Even if he's not even that active, being able to put him back in the lineup allows the Warriors to reframe their lineup to the way they want it. The Hamptons 5 playing Draymond Green more at center. Even if he's not great, just his presence on the court can realign their team. That's what they're hoping to get tonight as they face elimination.
Coverage of Game 5, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, 9 Eastern on ABC. Tony Parker, a key player in the Spurs' 4 NBA championships, told ESPN's The Undefeated he's retiring after 18 seasons. Former Red Sox slugger David Ortiz out of surgery and doing fine, according to his family, after he was shot at a club in the Dominican Republic. Ortiz is stable but in intensive care. The alleged gunman is in police custody.
Straight Talk Wireless runs on the exact same cell towers as the big guys, but for up to half the cost. The only question is, why wouldn't you? Get the $45 unlimited plan from Straight Talk with 25 gigs of high-speed data, only at Walmart.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Tom, I don't know who you can or how you can influence those that set up stories in which you have to click the little arrow to read each little segment on the website.
Yeah, like slideshows.
Yeah, can you harm people who do that or something? Because that's still a thing that happens. I'm trying to look for mock draft stuff for the NBA. I know that's not a big lead here, but there was a focus on some intriguing picks, including one of Florida State's own, and I was trying to read the story, but I've got to click through 17 slides. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, my old pals at 24/7 Sports do that these days, but they at least give you an option to view entire gallery on one page.
Yes. Have a soul.
They do, yeah.
I mean, be kind. What are we doing here? I got to click all this? Forget about it. Not doing that. So, at Jay Cameron Show called the win in Athens and said that if FSU were going to beat LSU, they'd have to do it in 2. Do you have any predictions for us in Omaha? And I said back that I would need 48 hours. That rings true. I need 48 hours.
I believe that.
Well, but here's the thing.
You powered through the drive. That's how this works, folks, is that Jeff always is the driver, not just on the airwaves, but for the trips.
But you have to admit, when you're driving Infiniti QX80,
yes,
you're driving in the lap of luxury, and my friends at Nissan Craft Infiniti could provide an experience like none other. And so you got to experience that today, and you got to experience it on our way out to Baton Rouge. And
yes, through the driving rain over the Pascagoula River and that bridge that goes high into the sky.
Couldn't see a foot in front of me.
No, but that thing was a tank.
I knew that, worst came to worst. I am in a tank. Whatever I hit's going to be hurt worse than us.
As long as we don't go into the river.
As long as we don't make it into the river, we're going to be...
As Benny the Beaver likes to do.
Yeah. Hey, so one thing to note, for those that have asked via email and the like about our experiences, and I've certainly shared a number of those today on the show, and through pictures and everything else, I tried to keep up with what we were doing. Baton Rouge is a nice town. I enjoyed it. I thought the people were great, which we've talked about, but the food was, really good. And I think by and large, it's a similar place to Tallahassee, Florida. It was delightful. Rooftop bar that we went to that first night was outstanding. There was, it has its down things, but I think it was great.
You at least have some, water that you're near, because being landlocked is a tough
That's
deal.
a toughie. And listen, rivers never can replicate the ocean. You can talk about your rivers all you want to, and the mighty Mississippi is a thing to behold, but it is a river.
Yeah, you got a rooftop bar, you're looking at a river, you're like, all right.
No, listen, it was a beautiful view of downtown with the bridge.
See the stadium in the distance that they had lit up.
Yeah, they did it. People are very, very proud of LSU, obviously, and they support their team. That part is certainly true, and I got no problem with that. I thought it was great. It's by and large respectful. They appreciate other fans. I'm told football might be slightly different. I don't know. I have a feeling it would be fine for us. I mean, we're not Alabama. We're not Georgia. We're not a rival, if you will, that frustrates them. But
we both hate Florida.
There
a lot
you
of
go.
people hate. I mean, obviously they have the crossover rivalry series, but still, there's a lot of people who look at us and they're just like, "Well, we hate Florida, so you're welcome."
Yeah, well, I imagine that anytime you're around Georgia fans, that's a familiar refrain.
So yesterday, I was at a table, a little high top table, for about 20 minutes talking with an LSU fan and a Georgia fan, and we all bonded over that fact. That was the icebreaker.
It's the easiest way to start a conversation.
Georgia fan was he decided to follow the Florida State path. I was like, "You going to go to Omaha and follow us too?"
I got a tour of the campus. I like to go to campuses, and I took some time before yesterday's game to go through and really get into the heart of the campus, not just look at it from the outside while driving through. I've always enjoyed college campuses. I like to try to find the library and then kind of centralize where I am. And, all right, okay, so let's go from here and find the different schools. Went by the journalism school, went by the English department, went by a lot of places, and English professor walked out and saw me. I was wearing my FSU hat. He goes, "Oh, you're in enemy territory today, huh?" And I go, "Listen, I just want to see the campus. I'm enjoying it." And he goes, "Well, let me show you around." Yeah, how cool was that?
That is awesome.
Yeah, the guy was really nice. Walked me around. We went everywhere. I saw, unfortunately, the Tiger was asleep, but
Mike was chilling, huh?
Mike was chilling. He was out cold. But, yeah, I went by.
So is the baseball program.
Yeah, much to their chagrin. And they want to fire Maneri. They're done with him.
It's been 10 years, man.
They're done with him. And, you think that people get impatient, but admittedly, I mean, they pour a ton of resources into that baseball program, and the standard is Omaha. And they were talking about the decisions he made in these two games, in particular yesterday, and they're done.
The funny thing about that place is the facilities. There are so many of them. There's like a giant indoor practice facility for every sport, but it's all laid out, very spread apart. So where we were on day 2 before the game, you're by a tennis center that's just freaking massive, but everything is flat as a pancake. It reminded me of Central Florida or the Tampa Bay area. Everything is flat and spread out. There isn't much in the way of hills to kind of change your eye level.
Yeah, if we're being really honest, too, while we talk about facilities, and this is something that would carry over into next hour, too, look, I'm as proud of Florida State as anybody. We're a million light years away from LSU's facilities when it comes to baseball, at the very least. I've not seen a basketball game there. I can't tell you about the Maravich Center. In terms of what it's like to see a game there. I went in there and looked around. It was nice, but I wasn't blown away by that center. The football stadium is loud. It's a fun place to see a game. It goes way up, kind of like Clemson Stadium does. The outside facade of our stadium is nicer than almost any stadium in college football. That is conceded by even our rivals to some extent. Now, the inside of our stadium is not nearly as nice as many others. The outside is with the brick is absolutely beautiful. So it's not like you drive by our stadium and drive by other people's stadiums and think, God, we're not measuring up. But when it comes to baseball, we really have to do better. And I know this isn't the time to have that discussion because we're not about to spend more money on baseball right now, but I can see why the coaches at Florida State involved with the baseball program feel a measure of frustration. They would like to see upgrades. And it's interesting. Hauser has always had charm. I've never said that. Whenever I've talked about Dick Hauser Stadium, and back in the day, it was an elite facility. But we got passed over somewhere along the way, and that's where not making that TV money yet has really hurt us, I think. I mean, you see they are in the lap of luxury. If you were recruiting against LSU, and we are, to bring in baseball players, and they toured those facilities and walked in the clubhouse there and out under the yard at Alex Box Stadium and then did the same here, you wouldn't get them unless you were able to offer something more from a scholarship standpoint, or maybe if you could tug at their heartstrings, they had family members or something like that. Otherwise, you're losing out. If it's just apples to apples, there's nothing quite like that place. And I know we love our baseball here, and we take great pride. And I'm not saying our place is, it's an enjoyable place to watch a baseball
Better
game.
than Florida, and they've got a lot of money.
But they're about to build.
I know they are. I know.
So what I'm saying is, that you and I both were kind of in awe of that facility.
This is possible, I believe, was what we said.
I was like, yeah. Now listen, they won 6 national championships, and the '90s Skip Bertman had it rolling and they won. It felt like every other year. I think they won 5 and 9 years. That helps birth that, okay? That's where it becomes your sport. That's when you're known for that, and it becomes an event. But they did a very good job of creating revenue streams all throughout that stadium, whether it's the 2 corners with the beer tents and all of that, special area where they had the TV set up and air conditioning with the fans and all that. You could do that. Obviously, the standing room-only areas behind home plate with the wide walkways. You don't see too many third tiers in college baseball like they have set up there for their boxes for the big-time boosters and alumni. They have a lot of ways to turn that into an event, a see and be seen sort of thing, in a sense that you're part of something much bigger to aid the pride of Tiger Athletics. And I think that is. I understand their love of football and their passion for football. They've lost to Alabama 8 straight years. They are impeded in their efforts to win championships in that sport. But baseball, they have been, the dominant program in the last 20 years. And so they act like it, and they pour some money in it. And, I don't know when we're going to be able to do that.
I think it's a great pitch for maybe the third base coach to say any of the boosters that made it with him on the trip. You see this? You were in Baton Rouge with us. Yeah. Here's what's possible. You were in Athens with us 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We could take some things from A, from B. I know it's much better, but even the people who went to both, they said, well, it was nice there. This is nicer. Baton Rouge is nicer. But you have examples laid out before you, and here's how I am going to get us from A to B.
And he has ideas. While you're talking about Mike Martin Jr., he does have ideas, and he certainly has seen his fair share of SEC facilities. In baseball, they have really, as a league, invested. So has the ACC, though. North Carolina and Virginia, all these schools have really nice facilities now. There was a time where I think you could look at Dick Hauser Stadium and Mike Martin Field and say, yeah, no, we match up with anybody. But now we're buried behind a lot of people. It's never good to be able to say, Wake Forest is ahead of us in terms of the structure of their baseball stadium. It's tough to, let alone if you start talking about LSU, Arkansas, Mississippi State, places like that. Apparently Mississippi State's place is a cathedral. It's unbelievable, and that is surprising because they don't win championships.
Right, but that is their sport. That's the event in that town.
Well, they're passionate about it, despite not winning championships in the sport, but they are, yeah.
They need a place to go.
Well, they can... Yes, they need...
Just,
I'm riding around Starkville. What am I going to do?
We're going to go to the baseball game. We're going to stay out of trouble is what we're going to do. Go to the baseball
out here
game.
In center field, apparently, which you could do in the stadium. That'll work, huh? How about that? Having tiers set up where people come in and back their stuff up and grill out and do it all up. Good Lord. What are we doing here? I would like that. So... Bottom line is, I don't know, if one of those donors were to say, write a big-time check, maybe after this year's national championship victory, then let's look at the IM fields, which I've been talking about for some time now. Doesn't have to just be parking for College Town. That could be a wonderful baseball stadium.
You got to build that football-only facility first. Get that done. You would build a baseball stadium first, wouldn't you?
No, because I know what drives the bus, and I get it.
Yeah, but your heartstrings are close to saying, yes, I would.
I would prefer that because I don't feel like, listen, the reality on the ground is that you need to have this football-only facility to keep up with the Joneses and be able to have the money train working in your favor, and football drives that bus. I get it. But I also think that it's long overdue for baseball that they see some serious upgrades. What people see from the outside, they don't know what's going on in the innards in some locations and in the locker room and so forth. And this program is too good to take a back seat to that extent. But, first things first. Got to get that football facility. Hey, got to win some damn football games.
Well, and in terms of baseball, there are still games to be played, man. So let's go win those games.
In Omaha, my man. Absolutely. Maybe we create a buzz where people say, yeah, let's do that. Let's build a new stadium.
To the one.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Playoffs are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's held in a shot.
The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for FSU and Major League Baseball. Trivia Tuesdays, beer bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget.
For the championship!
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
And we're back with another edition of Spring Cleaning. Today, we want to know how you save energy, water, and money during a warmer season. Caller, you're on the air. What do you do to save energy?
With the warmer temperature, I know my AC is working overtime, so I make sure to replace my AC filter once a month.
Excellent suggestion. Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the city of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more insulation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
Cigars of Tally is your one-stop shop for everything cigars. With 2 convenient locations, Cigars of Tally is here to serve you. The 1401 Market Street location is right off I-10 and great for travelers and after-work stops. The Midtown location, Cigars of Tally Lounge and Bar at 926 North Monroe Street, is great for those winding down from a long day. With the largest humidor in town, affordable cigar lockers, a large covered patio, and private conference rooms, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Cigars of Tally, open 7 days a week. Need cigars? Get your ash in here.
Hey, this is Jeff Doxey, representing Premier Fine Homes. I'm proud to announce Premier's newest community, Brookside Village. Brookside has the great schools you want, some larger home sites, and is conveniently located on Ox Bottom Road between Ox Bottom Manor and Moore Pond. Call or text me today at 545-4747 or email me at jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. Remember, before you buy, try me at Brookside.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Warriors superstar Kevin Durant plans to play in a must-win in Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight against the Raptors. Durant took part in the morning shoot-around, is listed as a game-time decision. Despite the fact Durant's been out a month with an injured calf, the two-time defending champs need him on the floor tonight, believes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
Even if he's not even that active, being able to put him back in the lineup allows the Warriors to reframe their lineup to the way they want it. The Hamptons 5 playing Draymond Green more at center. Even if he's not great, just his presence on the court can realign their team. That's what they're hoping to get tonight as they face elimination.
Coverage of Game 5, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, 9 Eastern on ABC. Tony Parker, a key player in the Spurs' 4 NBA championships, told ESPN's The Undefeated he's retiring after 18 seasons. Former Red Sox slugger David Ortiz out of surgery and doing fine, according to his family, after he was shot at a club in the Dominican Republic. Ortiz is stable but in intensive care. The alleged gunman is in police custody.
Straight Talk Wireless runs on the exact same cell towers as the big guys, but for up to half the cost. The only question is, why wouldn't you? Get the $45 unlimited plan from Straight Talk with 25 gigs of high-speed data, only at Walmart.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Alec Box Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana is a site for this Super Regional. The winner of the best of 3 will head to Omaha and the College World Series. This one golfed into shallow center. Here comes Flowers. It's going to drop. Racing home is Cabrera, and LSU's on the board first. Finally called him back and said, we need you on this team. And he delivers here. A single through the right side. Beloso will score from second. And this one's right up the middle. Smith will be waved home from third by Nolan Kane. The throw from Flowers is cut off. But Daniel Cabrera comes up with a clean single up the middle to extend LSU's advantage. Here's Reese Albert. The payoff again. Fouled off again. Albert fouls another one off. And another one spoiled. Sticks with the fastball, and it's driven high and deep to right field. And he has done it. A tie game thanks to Albert's bat over the bleachers.
Yes.
A 3-run shot. And he lifts another one high and deep to right field. Duplantis gets turned around. Can't find it because it's in the bleachers. Albert's done it again. Pitch. Popped it up. Nelson has a beat on it. Loses the mask. And Florida State wins Game 1 for the 40th consecutive season. 40 wins for number 11. And 1 win away from a return to Omaha.
Your favorite word. See you in Omaha.
Becker towards the line. It'll drop. Smith to be waved home. Becker's throw is off the mark, and taking second is Duplantis. It's a one-run game in the eighth. Ripped to third, off the glove of Mendoza, and we are tied.
Get your money back at the door, Omaha. Oh, somewhere in middle America, you're right to the heart that matters. Oh, it's the heart that matters more.
The 2-2 to Mendoza.
Think you better turn your ticket in. Get your money back at the door.
Line drive, base hit, around third Salvatore. The throw never gets there. Mike Martin's going back to Omaha.
I'm coming home today.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do. Win the whole thing.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. Tremendous Monday to you and yours. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes that happens, and when it does, go back, get caught up, as we'll post all 3 hours of the program upon its conclusion, both to iTunes, where you can go rate, review, and share with your friends, and also on our website, ESPNTallahassee.com. in the archived audio. Email us if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. WTSM app, good for all mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Great to be with you. We did make the trek back from Baton Rouge early this morning. Got up, and it's a little bit easier to get up after minimal amount of sleep when you were the one who was victorious. And we, indeed, were victorious. Florida State goes to Alex Box Stadium, famed Alex Box Stadium, and wins in a sweep. And that game last night will be one of the 5 or 7 I think we bring up early on in a conversation many moons from now when talking about Florida State baseball. No matter what happens from here, you go back and I think about this. The announcement comes out, Florida State's in the field. Okay, I thought they'd make the field, talked about that weeks leading up to it. I think most people realized for all of the hand-wringing, they were going to get in this tournament. It would have taken I don't even think they would have had to have beaten NC State. I know a lot of people say that was the win that catapulted them in. No, it didn't. It didn't hurt. It was certainly, it made it easier and more palatable for some on the committee to say, yeah, they're in with that win, because it was a big win for their RPI. But I think what Mike Martin has done in this sport, frankly, the season Florida State had was worthy in a field where, frankly, it's hard to find 64 teams to get into a tournament. And anyhow, I thought Florida State was going to get in. From that point forward, we talked about, hey, you got nothing to lose. Expectations are very minimal. You're a 3 seed on the road in Athens, who was the 4th national seed. You kind of realized the season they had just 15 losses. They had really pitched well. They hadn't lost back-to-back games at home all season long. So go up there and let it fly, man. At least you made it to the postseason. If you could win a regional series, you wouldn't go out with a whimper, and you would put a nice little ribbon on Mike Martin's final season. Obviously, we've all dreamed bigger than that. We've all wanted 11 to win a World Series title, for Florida State to capture that elusive national championship. But given the season they had, you didn't figure it was going to happen. So the next best thing would be, A, make the postseason. Don't end the streak. Maybe get to 40 wins and keep that streak alive. That Florida State played loose, and the next thing you know, it avalanched on Georgia. So you win that series, and we talked about it a lot right after that, which was, man, what a cool reward for having some chutzpah, for playing well at the right time, for playing hard for each other, and for Mike Martin, and winning that regional in Athens. You get to go to what many consider to be the crown jewel of college baseball, a place where they own 6 national championships, where they've kind of owned the sport over the years. And let's all make that trip. Let's, if you can, travel to Alex Box. Let's get to Baton Rouge. Let's experience that atmosphere. Let's see what that's about. Check it off the bucket list as a Florida State baseball fan and supporter. So I can just tell you that it did not disappoint. Tom and myself made the trip. We got there on Friday. Obviously, the way the timing of the games worked, they were playing Saturday, Sunday, and potentially Monday. Thankfully, no need for the Monday game. But we were ready to take it all in, to experience it all. We're asking the locals about restaurants and things we have to go and do and see in the downtown area as well as by campus. And I toured that campus thoroughly, did all those things. But for sure, all I really wanted to do was step foot in that ballpark and see us play well. I wanted us to represent a proud program like Florida State's and like Mike Martin and that staff to the utmost of their ability. Whether that was good enough or not, based on the season we had, I had my doubts. But go play well, stay loose, represent the program with pride, and let's experience this together. Let's take it all in. Let's not play scared. Let's us as fans cheer as loudly as possible but respectfully. Interact with those people who love the sport the same way we do, probably more passionately than almost any fan base college baseball. Our thought to kind of represent the sport the right way and care deeply about wins and losses, that stadium, its legacy. And it did not disappoint. We did just that. We interacted with that fan base. We walked into that gorgeous stadium. We toured that stadium. We saw the plaques, the monuments, the national championships, and then we watched our team play like they did to come back, be no hit through the middle innings of the first game, to maybe just barely, because that was something I'll never forget as an FSU baseball supporter.
I watched us walk off. I think, was it Ramsey who hit one into the night in right field, and that may have ended either a regional or a super regional game years ago. This is the most unique thing I've ever seen at the college level when it comes to watching college baseball. I had the honor of sitting in behind home plate for Game 7 of the 2003 ALCS, and it was the Aaron Boone home run in the 11th, and that was amazing. This is just so unique because it mixes college and a pro baseball-like feel. When we were in the auxiliary press box for the start of Game 1, and we were watching the lineups being announced.
Which is right down the first baseline.
Right down the first baseline. Yeah. Probably the edge of the clay into the outfield, somewhere around there. And you're watching the Noles come out of the third base dugout. It looks like our college baseball team is emerging on a Major League Baseball field.
Yeah. I've described it as being nicer than most minor league parks, modern minor league parks that you go to. I agree with you. And
it was an incredible. I mean, I haven't been to Ameritrade yet, and I know Rosenblatt had more character than Ameritrade.
Yes, it did.
But this had the feel of a prize fight. It was everything. Both teams battled so hard to come back from deficits, to face the adversity, and we just had a little bit more defiance in us. And we've had that. We've been defiant for weeks now, and I keep using that word because we refuse to go home.
Well, and kudos to the fans that made the trek to watch Florida State play. I thought we represented very well. I know Eric Llewellyn tweeted it out after the first day. I saw that there's a lot of garnet and gold there, and he's not wrong. There were a lot of fans there, and they were vocal. We were loud. There was no backing down from the fans either. Not that we got a single hit or made a single catch or executed a single pitch, but the players, you could tell, and I know the coaches were very appreciative. And that's not to be taken lightly. Go represent. It's a proud program. Yeah, we don't have a title, but we have a whole lot of everything else and excellence sustained over a longer period of time than anywhere else. And so, I get it. We're still chasing, and that dream is still alive. Rather unlikely as it may seem, it is still alive. And at this point, when you look at the tickets that are punched, Louisville, Vanderbilt, Florida State, Texas Tech, Mississippi State, Michigan, and Auburn, you'd say, are we the best team out there? No, we're not the best team out there. But that doesn't matter when you get into a truncated tournament and all you're tasked with doing is giving yourself that opportunity to get into the final 2 out of 3. Get to that series. Strange things can happen. If you don't believe me, Vanderbilt is one of the best teams out there. They lost 18-5 to Duke in their first game. UCLA was the number 1 national seed. They didn't lose a single series the entirety of the year, and they lost at home to Michigan, who was one of the last 4 teams in. College baseball is fickle. We know that all too well. You can bring the best team out there, and it's not guaranteed you're going to win it. You could go out there having been an average team during the course of a regular season, but begun to believe, maybe gotten healthy, maybe begun to get contributions from some younger players or people you weren't expecting, and get hot, and all of a sudden, you're in it. You got a shot. Ask Fresno State, Coastal Carolina, schools that you never thought you'd see win a national championship. So now you've punched your ticket, and all you've ever asked is to give yourself an opportunity. You can't win a national championship if you're not in Omaha. And in this Mike Martin's final year, they did it. They got back out there, and they did so after having gone through a season that they would tell you was not their best, nothing close to it. They were at times just bad. But they're not bad now. They're pretty good right now, and they're one of the last 8 standing. So it is remarkable to think about the ride and what they just achieved, going on the road to Athens, pasting Georgia, going on the road to LSU, and sweeping them at a venue that is as historic as there is in college baseball.
You know, it's amazing to me I was thinking about this last night. I had a hard time sleeping. My ears were still ringing from how loud it was at the end, and how loud it was in general. The LSU fans, to the bitter end, were obviously at full throat supporting their team. But remember how stale this was 2-3 months ago? I mean, even last month.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about you were just in limbo. You were waiting for this to see
how it
ends.
It was troublesome. But there was no buzz.
Apathy. There was a lot of apathy.
Yeah.
And if you look at social media timelines last night of Knowles, my friends or your friends or just Knoll fans in general, it looked like a big football win in terms of the interactions. I mean, this was sport number 2, and there was no debate about Florida State athletics.
For a long time, yeah.
And last night, it woke up a little bit again, just for a night. But you'll know that people are going to be dialed in. We've had some teams this decade that go out to Omaha, and you felt like they were punchless. And even though this team might have had the worst record of all of those in the midway point, three-quarter point of the season, this team is not punchless. It's got a chance. It's got a real chance.
Yeah, they're 41-21 now, and they
right.
All of a sudden
41.
you're like, okay, 41 wins. I mean,
and ace for ace. Our guys on the hill, if we got CJ, we got a chance to beat anybody in the country, and it would not be a stunner at all.
Not in the least. He is a tough kid with very good stuff, and is pitching like a guy that is as confident as they come every time he toes the rubber. So I think I'd make that move and let him start game 1. Logistically, I think it's a wise move. We'll see if they do that. There's some things that come out here in the next few days. We'll find out what their plans are.
Schedule released tonight for when we play.
But right now, I will tell you that, and by the way, Saturday, June the 15th, is game 1, no matter who it is. It's not necessarily us, but game 1 would take place at 1 o'clock on ESPN. Game 2 that night at 6 o'clock on June the 15th. And they obviously play on June the 16th on that Sunday for game 3 and 4. And so we'll begin to know who's playing where and what times later tonight, as you just noted. But either way, what they can do is not rest on their laurels, but certainly let it soak in. And I thought that one of my favorite aspects of the victory last night, the reaction to the hit was fun, and filming that and posting that was cool. I knew that my fellow Knowles we would all just be through the moon to watch that happen, and that was pretty cool. I had 1% left on my camera at the time I filmed that. On my phone. I'm just glad it went through. But really watching Mike Martin's reaction, the other camera angle, which we didn't see till later on when we got home and looked at the computer, or this morning even, he's incredulous. It's so cool to watch him take a moment and just smile and look at the kids sprinting to greet one another in the outfield to run after Drew Mendoza. He takes a moment to take it all in. There's the wisdom that comes with age, and it's oftentimes enough to remind yourself to look around when something big in your life is happening. That's really the ability to slow things down, because too often when you're younger, you get caught up in a moment and you don't have the sense to look around you. And it's only after you've kind of thought back on that over the years, like, I need to let those moments soak in a little bit more. I've spoken of that a lot as I've gotten older, and as my parents get older, and as I get older. The need to kind of, let's take this in. I thought we could begin and end with that, which was that you and I standing in that auxiliary press box on the first base line, taking off our caps for the national anthem. I took the moment to look at how packed that stadium was and
Yeah.
to feel that breeze initially as it came through. It was hot, but there was a breeze at the start of that game. And to watch the flag fly high and to see the national championship banners and all that stuff, that wasn't lost on me. And then last night, taking it in and then seeing Mike Martin do the same before he came out of that dugout to embrace Tyler Holt and also his son, Mike Martin Jr., that was awfully cool to see.
Yeah, I think the hybrid role we have is a pretty special one, that we can be fans and yet media members and get access to these things. But, I mean, the diehards, the baseball diehards, I don't mean this from a negative place, because everybody's on the bandwagon again. You know, nobody, you know, we had those partisan lines about the manager and the future of the program and where it should go. That's immaterial. This is his last year. Everybody's on board, I think, especially after last night, 100% in lockstep. But for those group of diehard Noel fans, Noel baseball fans who love that guy, to be able to go on the road and share those moments almost like it's just them. They get their chance to have
really
their moment.
intimate in the moment, yeah.
Because it reminds me that there are a lot of people in this fan base that still cherish Mike Martin. I know a lot of people in the fan base are loud and they want change. They want to change 10 years ago. But this guy means a lot to a lot of Florida State baseball fans, and I think it's really cool in its own way that we got to do this in Athens and in Baton Rouge, where these fans get kind of a moment alone with 11 as he celebrates some of the best accomplishments, most unlikely accomplishments in a career that's littered with all of them but one.
Yeah, and he said as much basically. If you read his quotes and listen to his quotes, this is one that's truly special, and he's never going to forget it. I think you're right about that. Those fans get rewarded. They stick around after the game. Obviously, the team comes over to the third baseline to embrace their fandom and to say thank you and to do the Noles cheer, as we all did. And that was a lot of fun to see Mike Martin doing the Noles cheer out there and to engage those fans. Everything about it, just trying to give you a description of what we witnessed while we were there. And to take it in and to think about what was just done by a team that, yes, it was apt to describe as unlikely to do any of these things. You can appreciate it. Again, I feel like it's where the chips may fall right at this point. Now, it's hard to not think about winning it all when you're one of the last 8 standing. It's hard not to say, well, why not write the ultimate script here? Let's make the fairy tale come true. But the second you go down that road, you begin to go, okay, well, maybe I don't need to think about that, because you can begin to get nervous there. And I don't know, again, what you do to carry over the kind of momentum we've seen this postseason. You can't force things. You can't, change up your routine. You got to do what you do all the time. We hear coaches say that, whether it's going good or bad, you got to, kind of stick with what you do, especially if you believe in it over the long haul, over many years, right? But now it's the College World Series. We're going back. He's got another chance at it. That's the truth. And I think the reality is you got to get off to a good start. We all know that. I mean, the weight of the world that comes with losing that first game. It's just like we said about Alex Box going up and facing LSU with their history and all that was on the line. You really felt like you needed to win game 1. And that's what made game 1 so special, was you're getting dominated. And then the home run happens from Reese Albert, and it's tied, and the air gets sucked out of the stadium. LSU fans begin to look around at one another nervously. You could see that. You could sense that. Florida State fans were emboldened. It got louder. There was a sense that they were going to make that happen, and then they did. And we all walked into that stadium last night, and it turned out to be a whale of a game, and maybe it didn't play out exactly the way we thought it would. But I can tell you that Florida State fans walked into that game last night, as we both know, confidently. It felt like a team that had the mentality to go in and close somebody out. Like, they weren't afraid. And they got off to that good start, and you thought, okay, this is the group. I think that, they're playing like that now. They believe that's who they are. They think they can do that. And, there's an air about them right now. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. You hope they can carry it over to Omaha. There's a lot of time that goes by before that first game. You're talking about, 6 more days.
Yeah, when do you go from attacker to somebody who's trying to protect something? And that's what we've been openly talking about. It was easy to be the attacker and to be the aggressor as the underdog in Baton Rouge.
I think that, truthfully, though, when you're looking at a when you're looking at a Florida State and a Michigan, was thinking about Vanderbilt because of the level of play that they're.
Yeah, they loom. I can in your mind. Yes,
they do. But if you're looking at Florida State and Michigan, truthfully, now obviously two very different programs. Traditionally, Florida State is a much greater program. But when you look at the two, they really should be the loosest of the bunch. Again, both were part of the last four in. You would think that they'd be pretty loose because, I mean, maybe deep down inside, I'm not so sure their coaches, Michigan's or ours, really thought we'd be in Omaha. If everything went right, if all the breaks went right, and maybe guys found a little magic in the air, maybe, because you never want to give up hope completely. But based on the season, you know.
I think last night, of all the video shots that they got of Coach Martin interacting with his son, the assistant coaches, the players, the fans, my favorite is when he hugs his wife and he says, "I'm so happy I can't stand it," because that's exactly how it felt in the stands.
Yeah.
Everybody was just beside themselves. I ran down to give Johnny Mack a hug before we walked out, and you see what it means to all those fans who, on their own dime, make a long road trip. And, man, they were just all so happy that they couldn't stand themselves. They were beside themselves.
Yeah, the First Lady of Baseball was giddy, too. And she's been around and seen a lot of things. So that was very, very cool. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Glass and by Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Yuengling Golden Pilsner, a highly sessionable beer, golden in both name and color. Yuengling Golden Pilsner is the perfect balance of hop and malt character for crisp and smooth thirst-quenching refreshment. Cheer for your garnet and gold with Yuengling Golden Pilsner. Yuengling, brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee and South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee, go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the all-new Infiniti of Tallahassee, the newest Kraft Brothers dealership. As we get ready to break ground on the new Kraft Infiniti store, Peter and I thought, why not have a founding 50 with lots of cool stuff for 50 special buyers? And when we say special benefits, we mean it. Here's just some of what you'll get. Free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime powertrain warranty, and free gas fill-up with factory-scheduled maintenance. I told you this was special, and there's more. Free car wash and loaner cars, a gold license plate frame, and a commemorative brick at our new store. store. Plus, my favorite, the white glove treatment with front-of-the-line service priority. It's Tallahassee's first truly VIP car buying and servicing experience. So if you're in the market for a luxury vehicle, you need to look at Infinity of Tallahassee. Seriously, no haggle pricing, and every time you come in for factory scheduled maintenance, we change your oil for free, wash your car, and even fill it up with gas. It's Infinity of Tallahassee's founding 50, so prepare to be pampered. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Stephen A's larger point that Magic Johnson might have been a tough boss. That's probably fair, what he's saying there. And I told you when he was hired, he's super impatient. He quit coaching after 17 games or whatever it was and took Vlade Divac's beeper and threw it up against a wall because it went off during a meeting. It's a great sentence. I use it way too much, but it's only because I want everyone to picture Magic Johnson, 5'11", is the coach. Vlade Divac, he's in a cloud of cigarette smoke in the locker room, and there are no cell phones. He's checking his beepers because he's hearing from people all over the world, and Magic Johnson takes the beeper because it was interrupting what I'm sure were some profound, deep thoughts that were going to change basketball, and throws it against the wall and makes it shatter.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
And I'm just reminded, Florida State 13, Florida Atlantic 7, Florida State 12, Georgia 3, Florida State 10, Georgia 1. I like those three games, Tom. I like the.
Can we have three of those in Omaha?
I feel really good about those games. Those were a lot of fun.
Followed by another three of those in Omaha? Well, two.
Arkansas pasting Ole Miss currently 7-1. Beatdowns on there. Arkansas is playing well.
Okay.
And Auburn today came out and just clubbed North Carolina in the first two innings en route to a 14-7 victory. North Carolina, sweet Jesus.
What's going on, ACC?
Well, that's just as sorry a start as you can get, man. That has to.
We're going to have to carry you again, this time in baseball?
Well, we did plow right through the SEC. That was little resistance from the SEC.
No, unceremonious.
It was, have a good one. I was also laughing at the fraudulent Pac-12. Stanford got beat by Mississippi State. UCLA was the number one national seed and lost to Michigan. Okay. It's a toughie. That's a toughie, Tom.
That's, I don't know that you come back from that one.
Yeah. By the way, the Kumar Rocker no-hitter versus Duke in the Nashville Super Regional, in which he struck out 19 for the first individual no-hitter by a Vanderbilt pitcher since 1971. What are you doing? Who gets struck out 19 times in a no-hitter? You know how many? I mean, that's a lot of pitches. You don't get 19 Ks in a no-hitter.
That's correct. Usually you're dealing with
5
to 8.
Good Lord.
A lot of ground ball outs. First ball, fastball.
That'll hurt your feelings there. It's tough to get no hit, but a guy strikes you out 19 times to boot. You are as impotent as they come. It doesn't get any worse than that.
What was the moment you were most worried this weekend? Was it before the first pitch and you felt fine after that, or was it when they tied the game yesterday?
Well, I mean, that kid, Fontenot, deserves all the credit in the world. When he's starting to deal and it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon, and they've rallied back to, tie the game at this juncture, I'm beginning to think, man, we let it get away. We were 5-6 outs away from winning the series, and you start, the machinations, you start going through all the ways that you maybe let this one get away and what that means, and what are you going to do tomorrow, and who do you have left, and Connor Grady, I get all of that. It wouldn't have been an automatic loss, but I really had in my mind going in, and that's why I said it, I had a feeling that one of the two teams was going to sweep the other. I did not feel like this was ever going to go 3. And I thought our best chance to win would be to sweep it, just given that we haven't really had a consistency of depth in that staff, and that we were the road team and all that other stuff. And so I thought, gosh, we let this get away, this atmosphere, and they're charged and believing again, and it's going to be tough. Any little thing goes wrong on Monday, we're dead. So I was probably most nervous once it got tied and they had somebody on the hill that was really dealing, because I was beginning to think, who do we have left that I really trust is going to be able to get outs?
Let's see. More surprising that we are here at this moment, or that you completely destroyed me at Topgolf on Friday in Baton Rouge.
Well, you hadn't played golf in a while, so I can't go crazy on that win. I did win.
I wanted to beat you to the punch to let the people know, so it wouldn't be lorded over me.
It's 5:36. I hadn't even mentioned it.
I
didn't even mention Top Golf. That's lingering with you a little bit, but you really hadn't played golf in a long time, and so
you were like Reese Albert, steely resolve.
I felt good over the ball. I was hitting it pretty well. Once I figured out I was playing a draw. Exclusively.
Like a 10-yard draw, but it was controlled.
It was. I got to where I was like, okay, I can hit that. I want to see now, does that translate from Top Golf to the course? Because I was playing that sucker like I knew what I was doing. I'm a little worried that's me now.
Like Dustin Johnson over here, 5-iron from 200.
Let's watch this thing go. Yeah, you even asked me that. Like, are you just hitting a 5-iron out there? I'm like, yeah. I didn't want to think about it. You can hit a lot of balls.
You
in
get
a
a good
hurry.
rhythm.
You get into a rhythm out there with Topgolf. First time I've ever done that. They emailed me today, and I immediately thought of them. I thought I would love to go back and see you guys, but I don't live in Baton Rouge.
Who wants
and
to
I'm
partner
not
up?
driving to Tampa.
Who wants to partner up with the Cameron Show to finance a Topgolf here in Tallahassee? Let's do it.
I'm in. Maybe our friends at Capital City Bank will give us a call and offer up a cool $75 million. First of all, you'd get the studio sponsorship, and we would be investors together on a
put a
Top
studio
Golf.
out there.
Yeah, we would. We would. Kevin Durant is going to play tonight. I'll talk about it in a moment, but ever so briefly. This is about FSU baseball today. Forget about it. You can't get crazy with the NBA Finals tonight, not after not paying attention to the fact that he was playing through much of the last 2 days and finding out today for sure that he practiced. I do want to see a hell of a game tonight, so maybe we get rewarded. I'm just worried I won't be awake for it.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
For Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town. The Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 of a Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great, Tom.
So I've got two questions, and the first one I'm going to ask you about is the state championship. What made this year, this team so special?
If I had to use one word, I would say resiliency. We preach that word from the first day of practice, that no matter what happens, we as a group need to stick together, and we need to form a brotherhood that is so tight that nothing can break us. And our group was talented, but I think what made them so special is that they were resilient when things got hard. Instead of severing and breaking apart, they instead came together even stronger. And then also selfless, that this group put the team above themselves in a way that I have hardly ever seen in sports, whether it be on the high school, college, or pro level. And I think that's what made this year's 2019 state champions at JP2 so special.
It sounds like even though you built a culture, a championship culture at that, at JP2, it doesn't just come from the basketball program itself.
JP2 is a wonderful family environment. It is a school that prides itself in helping students develop and form in mind, body, and spirit. It truly is a family atmosphere.
For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Warriors superstar Kevin Durant plans to play in a must-win in Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight against the Raptors. Durant took part in the morning shoot-around, is listed as a game-time decision. Despite the fact Durant's been out a month with an injured calf, the two-time defending champs need him on the floor tonight, believes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
Even if he's not even that active, being able to put him back in the lineup allows the Warriors to reframe their lineup to the way they want it. The Hamptons 5 playing Draymond Green more at center. Even if he's not great, just his presence on the court can realign their team. That's what they're hoping to get tonight as they face elimination.
Coverage of Game 5, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app, 9 Eastern on ABC. Tony Parker, a key player in the Spurs' 4 NBA championships, told ESPN's The Undefeated he's retiring after 18 seasons. Former Red Sox slugger David Ortiz out of surgery and doing fine, according to his family, after he was shot at a club in the Dominican Republic. Ortiz is stable but in intensive care. The alleged gunman is in police custody.
Straight Talk Wireless runs on the exact same cell towers as the big guys, but for up to half the cost. The only question is, why wouldn't you? Get the $45 unlimited plan from Straight Talk with 25 gigs of high-speed data, only at Walmart.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Explosive tonight. That game doesn't tip till 9 o'clock. Of course, Toronto leading that series 3-1 and a chance to bring home a title. And I don't know, Tom, do you race home, take a nap, get up for 9 o'clock?
If this was Game 7, you bet. But it's not Game 7. So I will tape it and watch condensed highlights tomorrow.
I was going to say, it could be the last game. Could be the last game. We'll see. I want to see how explosive he is and what he can bring to the table here at this point, this juncture, right? Meaning Kevin Durant, that is. Do we have the game tonight?
Of course we do.
On 97.9 ESPN Radio. That's what we do.
Pre-game coverage begins at 8 p.m.
I saw where David Ortiz, by the way, the latest on that story as we get set to wrap it up and do probables here shortly, being transported. The Red Sox sent a plane to get him.
Did they really?
Yeah. They sent a plane to transport him back to Boston. Man, I listen, it's got to be tough. You're from a place everybody loves to some degree. There are elements of all of us that love where we're from. There's certainly a nostalgic pull to where we're from. It's helped made us who we are. But a lot of these athletes that are from poorer countries and places that don't have a lot, they put themselves at risk. And in the case of, going home, you can't blame a guy for wanting to go home. At the same time, I don't think I'd do it. You're a target.
Well,
you're a target.
And for those of you who don't know, he was shot yesterday.
Oh, sorry. I assumed everybody knew. Yeah, David Ortiz was shot yesterday in the Dominican Republic. And, I don't know the situation surrounding it, but there's been this isn't the first time that, we've certainly seen high-profile people targeted. And that's not, that's not a sweeping judgment on the people of the Dominican Republic. Of course not. But there are areas that are very, very dangerous, and that is evident and awful. And I would hate it not to be able to go back home. But, I have to say, if I were one of these guys' agents or friends, hey, slow our roll until things calm down because you're a target.
Yeah, damage to multiple organs, but obviously he was in critical but stable condition last night, and they had to remove part of his liver, I heard, and I don't know what other organs, but that was the news report as of this afternoon, updating his status. And I guess if he's good enough to get on a plane and come back to the States, that's got to be a really good development, a positive development.
The quote from the doctor is that the level of stability that David Ortiz is showing at this moment makes it possible for him to travel immediately is a really, really good thing. The club's exclusive focus is on his health and well-being as they go and get him set to fly back to Boston. He had surgery for 6 hours. They removed parts of his intestines and colon as well as his gallbladder.
Oh,
so
okay.
Not his liver.
Well, I read a false report then.
Yes, but he did suffer some liver damage. So, but as far as the organs removed, it was parts of his intestines and colon and all of his gallbladder. You don't need
that.
You don't need your gallbladder. Let it get out of their gallbladder.
You know anybody who ever had that taken out?
Yeah.
My mom did.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, no. There was a stretch of time where I had stomach ailments that lasted for about 2 years. I used to always think it was that. I used to always think, I've got either pancreas problems or gallbladder issues, and it wasn't that. I wasn't hydrated, Tom.
You don't say. Coffee by day, craft beer by night.
Well, this is many moons before craft beer existed, but yes,
okay.
I see where you're going. Let's get to these probables, shall we?
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Yeah, the doctor told me I needed to take better care of myself. That's always a scathing. That's a long time ago, Tom.
That's about, did he say it with flourish, or did he just say it like that?
No, he was calm. He was just like, probably need to take better care of yourself. You're a healthy young man otherwise. Stop beating the hell out of your body, Cameron.
It's cold water, man.
Drink some water every now and again. Try to get more than 3 hours of sleep. Get a hold of yourself. That was the 20s. That was
3 hours of sleep is about right.
Yeah, but we didn't. I had one beer yesterday.
Yes, that's correct.
D-backs, Phillies, and away we go. Taylor Clark starting for the D-backs. Jared Eichhoff goes for the Phillies. Mets, Yankees, did you know?
Yeah, but it's getting dumped on up there, just like this radio station was about an hour ago, so I don't know if they're playing.
Yankee Stadium, Jason Vargas, straight dealing. It's the start for you tonight. And Masahiro Tanaka is going to go for the Yankees. I'd say advantage Jason Vargas.
It's Yankees minus 195 if you want to jump on that.
Vargas is on fire. Cardinals, Marlins, Michael Wacha going to go for the Cards. Let's go Marlins. Sandy Alcantara goes for the Fish.
Such a great name.
It is a great name. I like saying it. Rangers, Red Sox, Mike Minor has had a resurgence that one could not have predicted. 5-4 with a 2.55 and 87 strikeouts. His last 8 starts, he has a 2.08 ERA. I thought Mike Minor was out of baseball. What in the world?
Yeah, I thought he was like an 06 fifth-place finisher for the Cy Young.
Man. Chris Sale goes for the Red Sox. He's pitching better. A's, Rays, Tanner Anderson. We got a new Anderson in the mix. Yeah, it's his first start. By the way, I always love when they pull a guy up to make an emergency start. After he posted a 6.76 ERA and 11 starts in Las Vegas.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. You got it on a roll there, Tanner. We're calling you up to the big club. Charlie Morton going for the Rays. Charlie Morton is 7-0 with a 2.30. You know, Charlie Morton pitched for the Pirates for a very long time.
Yeah, well, he and Hap
did not resemble the Charlie Morton post-Pittsburgh. Speaking of Pittsburgh, Joe Musgrove goes for the Buccos, the Braves. Oh, you want some more, Atlanta? You want some more? You didn't get enough last time? We beat you about the ballpark? I got to talk now because I won't be able to talk long because Kevin Gossman's pitching for the Braves, and we can't pitch right now, and we'll get clubbed. But we did win the series against you the last time.
like the Georgia Bulldogs hosting a regional.
Yeah, this ain't good. Nationals, White Sox, Anibal Sanchez goes for the Nats. The White Sox will throw. Oh, Despaigne is making a start. He hasn't made one yet this year. All right. Odrisama. Despaigne. We got the Cubs and the Rockies. Where have you been? I'm glad he's feeling better. He was out with an injury. Cubs, Rockies. Yu Darvish goes for the Cubs. Herman Marquez goes for the Rockies. A lot of great names tonight.
It is in this moment I realized that a De La Rosa has not pitched in some time.
Oh, man, that hurts.
Yeah.
De La Rosa.
Good for you.
Yunyin Ryu goes for the Dodgers tonight against the Angels. Griffin Canning was number 2 on his golf team, Griffin Canning was. Lived in a beautiful home just around the turn from Tyler.
Lanky young man with a giant visor.
Griffin Canning going tonight for the Angels. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
Nothing's wrong, nothing. I got plenty of time.
All right. Time for a big meal. Sit back, spend some time with the family. This gives you guys about 24 hours to get my birthday gifts in order. I finally waited. I waited at the end. I waited at the end of the show.
It's impressive. You know, the De La Rosa effort out of you must have had 0.2% left in the
a little bit something.
tank.
It was like my phone when I was recording the big hit in the moment. How many, you saw it, you were there. How many times did I hit record on previous at-bats thinking we were about to get it done and then have to delete it? But
I'd say the over-under was maybe
15?
No, there was a lot of pitches. I mean, a lot of pitches.
I gotta see what all I saved on there. I have.
That wasn't the only inning, though.
No.
I mean, that must have been 40, 45 times. Yeah.
But I got it.
Because there were even timeouts at the plate and stuff, and you go,
stop
she
it.
did.
It. Yeah. Stop it, delete it, stop it, delete it. But I'll have that one forever. And I've watched it now 30 times. I'm going to watch it again. As soon as I say goodbye, I'm going to watch it again. It never gets old.
We are going to Omaha.
We are going to Omaha, and there's plenty of time to wrap our minds around that. Congratulations. I really am happy, very, very happy for the Martins and for that entire coaching staff and all of those players and the longtime supporters of Florida State baseball. That was they gave me all the feels right there. That was something to behold, and I was glad to be there with you, buddy, and glad that we got to run into as many great people that pulled for this great university as we did. And it was also awfully nice of the LSU folks to be so invited.
Because you were born on the 11th, that was a gift from Mike Martin to you.
Is that what that was?
Yep.
Man, he thought, guys, don't do it for me. It's Jeff's birthday on Tuesday.
The 11th.
Let's make it happen. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. Don't forget, later on tonight, we do have the NBA Finals for you right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You guys take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow.